Hi, 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 hi. How's it going, everyone? I hope you all are having a great day. Why is this like this? There. Hi, Crovan. Hi, Rain. Hi, Pigeon. Hi, Marin. How's it going? Oh, hi. Crovan, I appreciate you carrying on her legacy in what ways you can. Doing pretty well? Hell yeah. Excuse me while I finish eating dinner. I'm having toast. There's toast on with cheese on it. Always? Yeah. Yeah. But I'm doing alright. Pigeon, why? 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 I'm literally eating. I'm literally eating. But bro, wait. There's no way that's not on purpose. There's no way that's not on purpose. I refuse to believe it. But there is a local bakery near my brother's fiance's place that they that they like do different breads every day. And my brother had like extra of last week's Friday bread, which is a garlic bread, and so I'm eating it. It is very tasty. That plus some onion cheese. It's very, very flavorful. I'm working through my Beast Crest run. Hell yeah. You got me, Pigeon. Of course I got you. Come on. That one's too obvious. But like, garlic bread, peak. It's not like garlic bread in the like the kind you get with like pizza. It's like garlic baked into regular bread, and it's very, very tasty. Hmm. How is that going, Rain? Like, I imagine it's perfectly fine once you get, like, used to it. But Beast Crest has no blues, right? If I'm remembering right, which means that's the part that sucks more than anything. If I think. I wonder, is Beast Crest, like, meant to be, like, the challenge one? I don't know. There have been a couple Pogo places I've had to swap off. Yeah. I imagine that there's, like, a couple of, like, really, really tight platforming sections. Like, I'm thinking of, you know, the area just east of the Far Fields Bellway, and north just above the pinstress lady, like the seamstress. Like, that's an area that I imagine you can't really Beast Crest in. And the area, there's a flea in Shellwood that has like spikes with like flowers that explode. I imagine that one's like fucking near impossible to get with Beast Crest. There is a place getting up in Shellwood? Okay. We are talking about Silksong? We are talking about Silksong. I don't know what you're talking about. What crossbow are you talking about, Pigeon? What game are you talking about with a crossbow? Are you talking about, like, Elden Ring or something? I'm waiting to hear what game Pigeon is thinking about. Yes. I don't remember a crossbow even existing in Elden Ring. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, I genuinely do not remember one. I also didn't do any of that. Excuse me. I didn't do any range, like, anything in Elden Ring, so... I still haven't beaten Widow yet. Morrowind kind of sucked even with Gorman's help. I mean, Morrowind was always going to suck, because, like, Morrowind you have to be in the air, like, 80% of the fight. The Curve Claw is my best friend. You're honestly so based for that. Curve Claw is, I think, one of the more underrated tools. I don't know how people rate it. but it feels like if you can land the range on it, it hits like 6 times. It's so good. Like when Curve Claw hits, it hits like a truck. And at worst you're doing like, 1 tick of it, maybe 2. And that's still better than some things like the long pin is like the worst thing ever. It does no damage and it has a weird trajectory and is heavy and slow. Curve Claw is actually good in. Never used it in my first game, but it's a technique on anything with a big enough hitbox. Yeah, it really is. In fact, Curve Claw is what won me the fight in Biowater. Because it gets, when the big guy jumps out of Biowater, he literally just, like, absolutely shreds him. It's just, like, tax for large enemies, especially flying ones. So... Speaking of, I didn't talk about it yesterday, but I'll talk about it today. This Thursday is American Thanksgiving, so if you are American, happy Thanksgiving. But what that means is that Thursday's stream, I have it set to, the regular time, but there's a chance that I may not be home at that time because I'm with family. And so we may have to adjust the stream time, but I still plan on streaming regardless. So whenever I get home, I will let you all know. But I may have to change stream time. I'm planning on being home because I don't think my brother will be home at all that day, and someone has to feed the cat. Rengoku does need food, so I will be home for him, if anything else. So I am definitely expecting to be home on time because of that, but if I'm not, I will let you all know. But other than that, the plan for the week is today we're playing Across the Grooves, and Thursday we're playing Silksong. We'll be starting with the Verdania dancers fight, basically. Also, yes, the lack of blue tools hurts, but I've got enough crests and lockets that as soon as I beat Widow and get to Weave Nest Atla, it's Vesticrest? I don't know what the fuck a Vesticrest is. Is that something I have unlocked? Right? I don't know what that is. Spoilers? Question mark? I don't recognize that word. But today we're playing Across the Grooves. Across the Grooves is an indie visual novel. I had thought so. I'm in Act 1. I mean, I just don't know what it is. Is it a tool? Is it a crest? Is it... I don't know what that word is. Vesticrest. Is that referring to something? It's a thingy. Thank you, Pigeon. Thank you for the insight. But Across the Grooves is an indie VN. It's... The description on Steam was, the short description is basically that it's, about a girl who, gets a thing in the mail about her ex, and she's transported in time, and there's music involved. I don't remember the specifics. But it's like about music and finding someone who you love, if I remember right. But it's like a choose your own adventure novel. I'm of the understanding that there's multiple endings, and your choices dictate how you end, basically. Um, so I'm not really sure what the premise really is, but it's about like music, especially Across the Grooves refers to like a vinyl track. So we'll see. When was the last time you visited Wee's Nest Atla? I mean, not that long ago, right? Because I've done Eva, right? And I did all of the areas down there, and I got the snare trap, and I even went to the room on the right of the elevator. It's like halfway up the elevator, the teleporting elevator. I mean, I've done pretty much everything in Wee's Nest Atla, at least my understanding. If we need to visit again, we can. Excuse me. Okay. I don't think this game has voice acting though, so let me pop a lozenge. And we'll go ahead and get started. Also, Rengoku has not woken up yet. So he hasn't had his first wet food. Or his second wet food. So I may have to feed him twice. Hi X2, hi, glad to hear you're doing awesome. My last Silksong stream, we spent basically the entire time in Verdania, Rain, for the record. Okay, you're gonna have to let me know how music goes. The music has been playing in the background for me, and it's quite nice. But let me know how loud, quiet it should be. Should it be louder? Should it be quieter? There's a tutorial? Seems good to me right now? Okay. I've kind of kept it to where most games are, volume-wise, so hopefully that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna play through this tutorial real quick. Hopefully it's chill and not spoilery. Across the Grooves is an interactive graphic novel. In your adventure, you'll be asked to make choices that will define how your story progresses. One of your decisions When one of your decisions influences the personality of the main character, Alice, also, yes, you have the Vesta crest. It's the one yellow and one blue you have regardless of your... Oh! I did not know that had a name. I'm sorry. I did not realize that had a name. But thank you. Now I know. Okay. One or two symbols light up at the top of your screen. The spiral, the lightning, the flower, and the skull. Okay. Those are very apt names. They do not mean anything to me right now. And across the grooves, your progress is saved automatically. You won't be able to change the decisions you've made. Okay, so that means there's no saves coming. That's a tough one to swallow in a game where choices matter. But sure. However, the sum of your choices always lead to different scenarios. It's impossible to lose in Across the Grooves. Choose wisely. Damn, they're like, make your choices. To progress in your reading, click anywhere or press A. During your adventure, you'll be regularly asked to make choices. To validate a choice, click on the corresponding text displayed on the screen. Press A. This is an example of a choice. Choose one of the two options to continue. I'm yellow. To skip forward through the text quickly, you can keep A pressed. That sounds dangerous when A is the button used to progress. In the top left, you'll find the log button. It allows you to read the latest lines of text again. Also accessible pressing this. Okay, here's the lexicon as well. To click on an option, make sure to click on it. True. Top right is the options menu. Okay. Yep. Is that it? Okay. I mean, this is the most... What? Why? Why do they disappear immediately? What the fuck? What is happening? Okay, well that seems like a bug. But sure. We got this. One second. I'm going to go grab a thing. Let me put this here. This is an unnecessary long tutorial for basic inputs. Well, I think my main issue with it is that it doesn't tell you anything. Like, it tells you the basic inputs, but like this, this tells you that, like, the choice you're selecting is the yellow one, not the white one. But also, like, this being, like, the spiral, like, this tells you nothing. I think that's the issue that I have with it. Like, what does the flower mean? Like, what does the skull mean? Okay. Like, if it's gonna be a tutorial, teach me. But it's fine. I guess we start. And we're doing the tutorial. Well, okay. And across these grooves, some of the scenes are sung. When that's the case, the lyrics will be displayed in special dialogue bubbles like this one. Of course, you can keep on reading at your own rhythm, but if you want to hear the full song, you'll have to adjust your reading speed to the rhythm of the lyrics. Okay. Jean-Baptiste. Alice? Inner phone buzzes again as I'm putting on my blouse. I need to move this. This is slightly in the way. Alice, can you get that, please? At this time in the morning, it's probably a delivery. I wonder what Jean-Baptiste has ordered this time. Is this our partner? I quickly finish dressing and hurry to answer the interphone. The delivery man, who I thank for his patience, tells me in a toneless voice that yes, there's a package for me. A few minutes later, I'm back in my kitchen. I've made myself a coffee, and with a sense of foreboding, I look at the flat, square package which dominates the kitchen table. Jean-Baptiste comes into the kitchen, absently buttoning his shirt. So is this our husband, our boyfriend, just a fling? That's the question of the day. I like the art style. It's like messy, which I quite like. He turns his head toward the package and peers at me. What's that? I think it's a record. A vinyl. The shape of the package is so distinctive that my guess is almost a certainty, and the handwriting leaves me no possible doubt. I recognize the hesitant, disjointed handwriting of Ulysses. Ulysses? With a name like Jean-Baptiste, bro can do anything, be anyone? Well, no, he has to be French in some capacity. Whether it's a land that was once owned by the French, or if it's actual France, or if it's French Canada, who knows? Jean Baptiste is like the most French name in existence. I recognize the hesitant, disjointed handwriting of Ulysses. Ulysses? I'm not sure. The record store owner with whom I shared several years of my life with before I met Jean Baptiste a little over 3 years ago. Okay, so Jean Baptiste is a boyfriend and or lover of at least 3 years. You can tell that they're not married because she doesn't have a ring on her finger. I've had no news from Ulysses since the night we split up. Getting a package from him is unexpected, to say the least. Jean Baptiste gives me a quizzical stare. I like it. I mean, for dating, I'm not gonna lie. I think it was Ulysses who sent it to me. Your ex? Yeah, yes. I'm just as surprised as you are. I swear I haven't been in contact with him at all since we broke up. Jean Baptiste moves closer and strokes his finger gently through my hair. You should open it. Maybe there's a note, an explanation. He was part of your life for a long time, and you were part of his. I guess if he's decided to contact you now, it's something important. Well, that's sweet. You're right. I've got to run. My father has some big Chinese clients coming to the castle at lunchtime. I have to organize the meeting with the cellar master. The castle? Okay. He plants a quick kiss on my lips. Shall we meet up at the Brasier this evening? I might finish late. I remember that we planned dinner this evening with my brother and sister-in-law. It's okay, let's meet there. It's easier. I think these people are like actually French. Where is the dev from? Let me check. Um, yeah, they are French based. They're based in Paris, I believe. Is this Paris? No, it's in Bordeaux. Okay, well, definitely French then. Oh, let me close this. Let me go over here. There. Okay. I wait, listening to his footsteps go down the stairs and fade before I return to the kitchen and open the package. I need a little privacy to deal with the intrusion of this ghost from my past. I grab a large chef's knife from the worktop and slide it along the fold, cleanly slicing the seal of black brown packing tape. Inside there's a record, a 45, a 7-inch as the English call them. I don't know anything about records or vinyls, for the record. No pun intended. I genuinely, I mean, if you have been here long enough, you know that I don't really listen to a lot of music at all, in any capacity. So, even a more niche thing like record keeping and vinyls and stuff like that is well outside my wheelhouse. It's protected by a new sleeve, white card without anything written that could give me some idea of what's actually pressed into the grooves. Okay. I just heard a little buzz, and the log in the top left has a little question mark there. So I'm gonna white label. Oh, there's a new lexicon thing. English term to describe the test pressing of a vinyl record made for quality checking before large-scale production. Oh, this is like a test vinyl. Not like something that's been produced and stuff. Interesting. Knowing Ulysses' passion for rare records, probably a white label, a test pressing sent to the record company by the factory to check the track order and general sound quality before mass producing the record. Carefully slide the record out of his jacket. There's no label in the middle to tell me more of its contents. What I suppose to be the A-side is cut in one single piece, which leaves one to suppose that it's a 45. As for the B-side, it's bare of any grooves. The black, shiny surface of the record seems to reflect my confusion back at me. Why? And particularly, why now? It's been more than 3 years since Ulysses vanished from my life. 3 years without a word. Could have driven him to send me a record now, without the least explanation. I checked the clock on the wall above the door. I still have 15 minutes before I need to leave for the office, which means there's plenty of time to listen to the record, which can't last more than about 5 minutes. Maybe 7, 8 maximum. I pick up the packaging to put it in the wastebasket, and take a moment to inspect it again, checking there's no note or anything hidden in a fold. Nothing. That's so fucking weird. If my ex, who, according to the main character, Alice, vanished, and 3 years later, there's a blank, one-sided record, I'm like, what the fuck? This shit have your last will and testament on it or something? Like, what? And no return address either. Yeah. I'm like wondering what happened to them. More than anything. The postmark tells me that the parcel is posted from Paris, the 10th arrondissement. I don't know how to say that word. Arrondissement? Arrondissement. Anyways, it's Paris, so yes, they're 10,000% French. I take the record, then hesitate again. Do I really want to revisit the past now before work? Or wouldn't it be better to wait till this evening? We have dinner, right? We have dinner plans, so no. Oh my god, the French? It's literally the French, harmless. Also, hi. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great day. I decide not. Oh, the spiral lit up. Did you see that? This can't wait. In any case, if I don't listen to the record now, I won't be able to think of anything else all day. I go into the living room. The hi-fi has been regulated to a corner in the room behind the couch. Oh, what the fuck is a hi-fi? As I lift the cover of the turntable, dust floats up into the room. Is it like a record player? Is that what a hi-fi is? They aren't explaining it, so... Hi-fi. Hi-fi is short for high fidelity. The high quality reproduction of sound. I don't know. I'm gonna assume it means a record player of some kind. Jean-Baptiste prefers the background noise of the TV, so naturally I've stopped listening to music since we moved in together. Okay, so they at least live together. I plug in the headphones and put them over my ears. The night is upon me. This is sung. Oh, it has lyrics.
I take the last train on my cigarette. A door opens, a door opens. One pulls out through the crack.
This is kind of cool. This is very unique. Was the flower? 1 second. I'm gonna change this to this. This is so cool, actually. That was the skull. You listening? This is so weird. Like, what happened? So, or were we determining what was sung? Does it have, like, preloaded sections of song? Is that how that works? It's very unique. I'm really, really enjoying the design, at least. Ulysses? Oh. He turns and gazes at me sadly. I remember this evening perfectly. I have no idea what the fuck is going on. So, the only thing that you've missed is our boyfriend, like, we and our boyfriend were getting up in the morning. Our boyfriend of 3 years, Jean Baptiste. Getting up in the morning. It's those two. It's not these two. This is the main character's ex. So I'm getting there. We got sent a package from our ex, who's this guy. Who, like, disappeared. The main character described him as vanished. No, I'm late. It's okay. I'm literally going through it now. We get sent a record from our boyfriend, or from our ex-boyfriend, 3 years ago, who disappeared. And our current boyfriend left for work, and we decided to sit down and listen to the record. And as that happened, we made choices during the song which changed how the song, like, functioned, and now we are, like, recalling an evening with our ex-boyfriend, right? Like, that's what's going on. So this was, as you can see, I remember this evening perfectly. This is something that I guess the record has that reminds us of our ex, this specific moment. This is the day I met Jean Baptiste, who is our current boyfriend, right? Ulysses, the guy in front of you, is the ex-boyfriend who sent us the record. Jean Baptiste is our current boyfriend of 3 years. And this is the day that Ulysses and I said goodbye. We'd broken up a week earlier, but we had tickets for this concert. I told myself that I didn't want to miss out, that I could handle it, the two of us sharing some space for just a couple of hours. Big mistake. I hadn't anticipated the wrench I would feel in my heart when I saw him. Yes? I just came to see if you were okay. I'm... Sorry? Yes, I'm sorry too. Ulysses lowers his eyes, remorseful. I'm going to go. This was a bad idea. I shouldn't have come here tonight. He goes out the door and moves away. For a moment I falter. Perhaps I should let him go, as he does in my memory. I should push away my way to the bar, order a double whiskey, and let Jean Baptiste buy it for me, and then go for coffee with him a few days later. Ulysses. He stops and looks at me startled. In a few strides I catch up with him. What a strange dream. Why did you send me a record? What the fuck? Is this made time travel or something? I don't know. A record? I didn't send you any record. Yes, you did. It arrived this morning. White sleeve, no label. Does that ring a bell? Ulysses looks terrified. You weren't supposed to listen to it. What? I have no idea what's happening anymore. Listen, Alice. You have to go back to the bar. You have to do everything like the first time, like in your memory. What the fuck? That's what I'm saying, Coffee. Also, hi, Coffee. I don't know if I said hi to you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great day. There may still be time to avoid disaster. Uh-oh. What disaster? Ulysses, please tell me. Good day, just late. I mean, that's okay. That's super okay. I appreciate you being here at all, Coffee. I need to understand. Everything I've done, I did for you. Oh, you know this is not a good sign. When someone says that, trust me, Alice, I promise you don't want to know more. Around us, the world is beginning to break apart. It's too late. I hear the rhythm far away. It rushes toward me like a galloping horse. I'm engulfed by the music once more.
You're tearing me apart. I'm shrinking. You're the one who grows this end. But it's me who's shrinking. I'm becoming someone else in your absence. Breathing in, breathing out. The variations of me, I tear myself apart. I'm shrinking, I stretch my wings out. I'm someone else, and then I myself again.
Chapter 1. Okay, so that time we didn't choose mid-music. During the first song iteration, we chose how the song played out. It was very interesting. Bordeaux. I stay where I am, sat by the record player, the stylus circling the central groove, an unceasing hiss in my ears. Did I fall asleep? What happened? Take off the headphones, then replace the tone arm on its rest. I try to get my thoughts in order. I haven't thought of Ulysses in months. I never understood why we broke up. Our relationship worked. Little by little, Ulysses became distant. I threw myself into my studies. I probably neglected him. Our twin orbits diverged. And one day he was gone from my life. Should I have fought? Should I have tried to save what we'd built together? Would it have changed anything? I met Jean-Baptiste. He was charming. It was easy. Then I learned from Mark that Ulysses had left Bordeaux. I don't know who the fuck Mark is. This is the first time a Mark has been introduced. Life went on. I finished my studies. I found a job in a bank. We moved in together, Jean-Baptiste and I. Quickly settled into a routine. Weeks, months, years passed without me really noticing. Is this truly happiness, or is it only a comfortable status quo that I've never had the courage to challenge? I have a strange sensation as if I had suddenly woken from a long sleep, a sleep that had lasted for years. I check the time, 9:35. I'm going to be late if I don't leave right now. I put on my coat and set off on the short walk between the apartment and the branch office of the bank where I work. Damn, girl, you have to go into work after 9:35? That's crazy. I go in the bank and, what is this sentence? I go into the bank, I say hi to Martine on the counter, then I shut myself in my office. That's 2 sentences. Why is there a comma? Are you good, Coffee? Are you okay? I have a stack of files to deal with, but I can't concentrate. I stop at the apartment after work to take a shower and change. Then I hop on a tram to join Marie, Robin, and Jean-Baptiste at the restaurant. Oh, what is this word? I open the door to the brazier and plunge into the warm fug. The hubbub punctuated by the gurgle of the espresso machine. The fuck is a fug? I'm fine and just joking about 9:30 work. Listen, if I could go into work at 9:30, I would be great. Fug, informal British English. A warm, stuffy, or smoky atmosphere in a room. Jean-Baptiste loves this place. It's just under his old apartment. Plus, Marie and Robin don't live far away. They just had a baby, and an evening out from time to time is like a breath of fresh air for them. I pass the bar and say hi to Michelle, the owner. Michael? Is it pronounced Michael? I don't know. He seems surprised to see me, but before I can kiss him, hello, he's called away for an order from the other side of the counter. At the end of the room, Robin is waving to me. God, this is the most French written thing in existence. I sit down opposite him. Like, you can tell these people are not American immediately because they, like, have a very casual, chill lifestyle. They're like, yeah, let's get dinner at, like, the cafe down the street. That shit ain't happening here. At the end of the table, there's a pram. What the fuck is a pram? Oh my god, I'm gonna have to Google so many words because I don't know, like, European slang. What's a pram? A four-wheeled baby carriage for a baby. Oh, okay. That's where their child is. These people gotta stop using British English and use American English. I demand it. Marie's gone out to take a phone call. Oh, I clicked off it. Okay. Is everything alright? Oh yes, you know, I'm guessing it's more problems with the christening. If I'd had any idea what kind of nightmare it was going to be, I'd never have let that priest get his claws into my progeny's spiritual life. Do people talk like this? How is the lightning bolt? It makes Marie happy. Think of it as a good deed. They need fresh meat for their quotas. What the fuck? I really get the feeling that people are getting more worked up about this than they do about weddings. And yet you're not married, so we couldn't really say that you've got a reliable point of reference. Robin laughs. That's true, but I promise you I'm immune after all this nonsense. I lean over the pram. The baby is fast asleep. And how's my favorite little niece? Oh, are they siblings? I mean, they're both blonde. That's the only reference that we have, right? And Gigi enjoys the hustle and bustle, just like her auntie. I feel a hand on my shoulder. It's Marie. She's back, phone in hand. We hug. Sorry, I had to take a call for work. You'd think they'd just been leaving all the files on my desk for me to deal with after my maternity leave. So how are things with you? This is a flower. Oh, you know, everything's fine. So every time we make a decision, one of the things in the top four things in the like on the bar at the top light up, and we have no idea what they mean, even remotely. And when in the tutorial they just said it's the spiral, the lightning, the flower, and the skull, and gave zero explanation for what they were. Marie knows that I prefer to keep my thoughts private, but she also knows me too well not to notice that something's bothering me. What's the matter? Something wrong at home? A problem at the office? Fucking nosy ass bitch. No, nothing like that. I got a package this morning from Ulysses. Thank you, game. I never identified those shapes myself. I know, right? Like, they didn't call them, like, happiness, affection, struggle. Like, there was nothing. It was literally spiral, the lightning, the flower, and the skull. That's what they called them. And I was just like, this gives me zero information. It's literally like negative information. Ulysses, your ex himself. That's surprising, isn't it? You broke up, what, 3 years ago? What was in the package? A record, a vinyl. That's all? No note? Nothing? No, just the record without any explanation. Ah, yes, I remember. The record store guy, right? Yeah, I think Robin and Alice, our main character, are siblings. I don't really know why you guys broke up. He was really cool. Marie glares at Robin, who buries himself back in the wine list. Oh, man. That's like a typical brother thing to say. So no, nothing? It's odd, isn't it? This game was written and translated like it was written by a French person. I cannot describe it any other way. These people talk, like in writing, how French people talk in speaking. And it's so strange because they're speaking English, right? It's like the localization is French, but it's English. It's really strange because people, at least here, don't speak this way. But people in France speak this way. Hi, French person here. What do you mean by that? I mean, like, yeah. Let me go along. Like, when people say, here, let me see if I can find. Like, this whole exchange, like, from Marie, like, that's surprising, isn't it? You broke up, what, 3 years ago? What was in the package? Like, no, so no, nothing. Like, it's odd, isn't it? Like, people don't speak like that in English. They speak like that in French. Like, French sucker with English words, kind of. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, people who speak in Europe speak like this. But people who speak English in America do not speak like this. Like, you can tell it was translated by Europeans. If that makes sense. Which makes sense, the game is French. It's a French origin. Like, I don't know. I spent a not insignificant amount of time abroad. And every European I know speaks English this way. In the same, like, you know what I'm saying? I think people here in America speak, in more informal sentence structures. Like, if we can go all the way, I don't know how far back we can go. Okay, I cannot go further back than this. But in the beginning, when Alice and Jean-Baptiste were speaking to each other, Alice would always say yes. Like this. Robin, you see, says, oh yes, I'm guessing it's more problems with the christening. But if someone asks you, is everything alright, no one says yes to that. They say yeah, or sure, or, something like that. Like, people don't literally say the word yes. Hardly ever. Unless it's something more formal. But Alice said yes a ton. And I was like, look at this. So, it's odd, isn't it? Yes. Yeah, like, I would say, yeah, it is odd. Anyways, that's kind of like the thing I was pointing out. What was on the record? Did you listen to it? Yes, a 45. No label. No idea of the artist or group. I try to remember the music itself, but I can't seem to recall the melody. The sound was fairly pop, pretty modern. I guess it's Euro ESL English. Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's like European ESL English. That's exactly what it is. More formal vocabulary. Yeah, it's just like how people learn, how non-English speakers learn how to speak English in Europe. A whole load of memories came flooding back when I listened to it. It was really weird. I really felt like I was actually reliving the past, the night when Ulysses and I broke up. Still, it's a little out of order for him. No news for years, and he sends you a record, now, without any explanation. So anyway, what are you gonna do? I don't know. I have to admit, I'm a bit messed up. On the one hand, if Ulysses decided to send me a record after 3 years of radio silence, it must be important to him. On the other, without any explanation, I've got no idea what he's trying to tell me. You should stop by his record store. That would be a good idea if he still worked there. He left Bordeaux after you split up, didn't he? Yes. Still, it's not a bad idea. Mark, his old partner, is probably the most likely to know what's happened to him since he left. His old partner? Like, I assume that they mean not romantic partner, but like business partner. I'll stop by there tomorrow evening on the way home. I hope he can help me clear all this up. Listen, I don't want to hurry you, but can we order? So we can go home before the next feed? Aren't we going to wait for Jean-Baptiste? Marie and Robin look at me, bemused. Jean-Baptiste? Yes, he was seeing some Chinese customers today. It shouldn't be much longer. Uh-oh. 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 Alice, who's this Jean-Baptiste? I don't know what to say. How can they not know who Jean-Baptiste is? Jean-Baptiste? My boyfriend, you know? We've had dinner with you quite a few times. Oh, yeah. We even spent a weekend together this summer on the bay, don't you remember? Marie looks worried. Robin is glancing around nervously. I let out a shaky laugh. You're kidding me, right? Are you sure you're okay, Alice? This summer on the bay you were with an Arthur. You broke up 2 or 3 weeks after. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Don't worry, he goes to a different school. True! You never introduced us to any Jean-Baptiste. Robin nods in agreement. I don't understand. I don't remember any Arthur. My head is spinning. I stand up. Spots dance in front of my eyes. Robin rushes to catch me by the shoulder. Alice, you're scaring me. Are you alright? Yes, I need some air. I turn and hurry through the brazier. Behind me, I hear Marie say to Robin, let her go, we'll call her tomorrow. Then I'm out in the street. The cool night air helps me to collect my thoughts. A little further away, on the sidewalk, I make out the familiar shape of Jean-Baptiste. He's smoking a cigarette. The Jean-Baptiste that I had known has stopped smoking. We stopped together. Oh, they had quit smoking together, and now he's smoking. You were at a brasier? Yeah. A fucking... Is that not what they call... I assume that's what they call them in France, right? Like a coffee shop? French words plenty. This game is gonna have a lot of French words, Wiz, so prepare yourself. We had fucking arrondissement earlier. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. I fumble in my coat pocket. I pull out a packet of Gauloise. Gauloise? Gaulo. I don't. How do you say that word? Gauloise? Half empty. It's a bar, basically. It's a French word for brewery. Oh, okay. I thought it was like a coffee shop. Can Wiz be the French dictionary instead of Google then? Wiz will most certainly be the French dictionary instead of Google. Wiz, if you're here the whole time today, I'm going to be relying on you. Sigs, it shouldn't be there. There's no rational explanation why I should have a pack of smokes on me. Unless... Jean-Baptiste has seen me. He smiles at me. I can't stay here staring at him from a distance. I have to take a decision. See, like, that is not something that people say in English. In America. I have to take a decision. They don't say that. I have to make a decision. When you say I have to take a decision, that's something that European ESL says. You know? Oh god, you're right. That's like quintessential of exactly what I'm talking about. I have to make a decision versus I have to take a decision. But I don't know if I should turn away or go and talk to him. I hesitate. No, let's... I guess this would be us meeting our boyfriend of 3 years for the first time. God, this is going to be so awkward. I go nearer. We say, prendre una décision, which means to take. Ah. I said that, like, I pronounced it like I was speaking fucking Spanish. Decisión? That's Spanish, not French. Jean-Baptiste rummages through his pockets and holds a lighter out to me. I notice that I still have a packet of cigarettes in my hand. I take one out and let him light it for me. Are you alright? The way he looks at me, his manner, they aren't those of someone who shared several years of my life. He doesn't remember me, us, either. It's at this precise moment that something that was just an impression, a suspicion, a kind of out there thought which couldn't actually happen in real life strikes me full force. This man, who was making plans for the future with just yesterday, is watching me with indifference, mildly disturbed by my distress. Also, Rengoku is here, which means I probably need to go feed him soon. I'm a stranger to him, and it hurts badly. So, I'm going to assume that this game is about us tracking down our ex, be like, yo, what the fuck, get our life back in order? Please and thank you. And now, there he is, right in front of me, waiting for me to answer. Try to have a conversation. It's not even have a conversation, it's try to have a conversation. Jesus Christ. Yes, fine, thanks. It's just that, how should I say it? My day's been emotional. I get exactly what you mean. We're on a slippery slope which I decide not to continue down. I don't know how I'll react if he asks me what happened in my day, and I know he's about to do just that. Haven't we met already? Your face looks familiar. Has been dating for 3 years. I don't think so. I'd remember you. Do you often drink here? He nods towards the window behind me. Maybe you just saw me in there sometime? I come here a lot. I don't know. Maybe. Probably. Jean-Baptiste drops his cigarette and then crushes it with his foot. Sorry, but I have to go. Do you want me to ask... Again, is this pronounced Michelle or Michael? Because I spell Michael with an A in the middle of it. Michael? No, that's kind, but it's fine. He starts back to the bistro, then changes his mind and returns to pick up his cigarette end. He takes the chance to look at me again as if he was searching for an elusive memory or a word on the tip of his tongue. Michelle, yes, okay. He flashes an embarrassed smile accompanied by a good night before disappearing into the bistro. I stay where I am, in the cold, dragging on my cigarette, my heart in my shoes. God, that's fucking tough. That's rough. Then I turn away and head up the street toward the tram stop. I don't know, it's kind of strange. You wouldn't want to be like, restart your life? I don't know. I'm not the MC. The first thing I do when I get back to the apartment is to bolt the door behind me. As it should be, regardless of the situation. I had the feeling of being followed on the way home. Again, that's another ESL European thing. I had the feeling of being followed, not I felt like I was being followed. It's super interesting. The whole like difference in ways we speak English. I'm probably being a bit paranoid, but well, who knows? Someone breaking into my home during the night would really just top my day off. You're gonna make me self-conscious? I'm sorry, Wiz. I'm sorry. I don't mean anything. It's nothing bad. It's just an interesting difference in speaking pattern. The second thing I do is go into the bedroom and open Jean-Baptiste's side of the closet. No, I know it's just crazy. I never noticed. I mean, it's the way you speak, right? It's absolute second nature to you, which is fine. I'm not particularly surprised to find it full of my old clothes, things I thought I'd got rid of. I go out on the balcony and light a cigarette. I love that she had quit smoking, years ago with Jean-Baptiste, and now that they're in her pocket again, she's immediately lighting up. It's just like, oh. As I stand musing, I look at the apartment, and I'm aware of a number of small differences I hadn't noticed earlier in the day. There's no phone charger or small coins in the bowl on the dresser in the hall. The old games console, which had never been plugged back in since the move, is no longer on the shelf under the TV. The big photo of New York has been replaced by a tattered old poster from a regional rock music festival. The record, though, still dominates the kitchen table, exactly where I left it earlier in the day. It seems impossible, but it's as if, by putting the 45 on the turntable, I truly return to my past. As if, by choosing to run after Ulysses in the night we broke up, I hadn't met Jean-Baptiste at the bar. As if I returned to a present where I'm single, where Jean-Baptiste and I had never met. I could try listening to the record again to get to the bottom of this, but I'm afraid of making things worse. If it really does have the power to change my past, it could have catastrophic consequences of my life. Yeah, I don't know what you do in a situation like this. If this happens to you, do you try to, reclaim the life that you had? Do you attempt to listen to it again and hope it puts you back at the same point in time that it put you back in the first place, and then you just never... then you make the original decision again? But what happens if it puts you back at a different point in your past? It's the situation's super fucked, right? That's crazy. What do they call that again? The butterfly effect? I hope Mark will help me to clear this all. Help? Again, another thing. This is so funny. I hope Mark will help me to clear this all up tomorrow. At least he should be able to tell me what's happened to you, Lissy. I grab my phone and leave an apologetic message for Marie, assuring her that everything's fine and that I'm sorry I slipped away so early. And then I crush out the cigarette and crawl under my covers in hope of sleep. Saint Michel. I realize I've hardly set foot in this district since I split up with Ulysses. The store that Mark shared with Ulysses is in a little semi-pedestrian street on the corner. I used to come by here almost every day after my college classes a few years ago. Let's go gambling? Yeah, for real, for real. It really is like that. Excuse me. When I push the door open, I'm assailed by the characteristic odor of old records, similar yet distinct from the smell of old books. The big speakers fixed to the ceiling blare out a strident fuzz guitar solo at a volume theoretically much too high for a business establishment. I'd be incapable of saying whether it was some obscure 70s garage band or post-rock movement contemporaries trying to intimidate their elders. I would restart a lot of times to get Dwecky back, not gonna lie. I mean, you're so real for that. I think that's valid. I don't know if you were here for this, but the main character did describe her relationship with Jean-Baptiste as, like, something that was very easy and not something that was, like, particularly happy, but not something that was unhappy. It was just, like, easy, go with the flow, and they just kind of, like, live their life together. But not, like, special in any way. Which is a very weird way to describe a relationship. But I mean, I know you're in love with Dwecky, so, like, I think that's a super valid take. Like, obviously, she's more scared of, like, screwing up her existing life rather than trying to get it back on track. And she's, like, already, like, accepting the loss of her previous life, which is a bit weird, I'm not gonna lie. Mark is reading the sleeve with interest. Fuckaway ball moment, I would screw my life up. Let's go gambling for real, for real. I mean, yeah. And I definitely think that's super valid. Only when I reach the other side of the counter does he deign to look up. He smiles at me, then murmurs something incomprehensible in the din. I gesture to him that I can't hear anything, pointing at my ears. He flaps his hand at me, then turns the volume on his amp down to something better adapted to conversation. I was saying, they're a local brand, pretty powerful, huh? I've signed them for an EP. I just got the pressing. What's amazing with Mark is that even if we haven't seen each other for probably over a year, he behaves as we spent yesterday evening together. Hello, Mark. Are you okay? Everything's cool, thanks. And you? What brings you down here? Have you heard from Ulysses lately? No. Mark seems a little surprised at the question. Now you mention it, it's been an age. The last I heard, he was in Paris. When I say last, that was 6 months ago. I called him for a customer who was looking for Magma Originals. Magma is a French jazz rock band led by whoever. Okay. After, it's true we've kind of lost contact since. Mark breaks off. Guess that in some way he must blame me a little for what happened between Ulysses and me. Seeing as how our breakup almost cost him his business partner. Also cost him his business partner. Anyway, so no news of Ulysses lately. But why do you ask? He sent me a record. I decided to get straight to the point. He sent me a record. A record? Yes, no note, no explanation, no return address, nothing. Just a vinyl record in a package. To tell the truth, the only clue that told me it came from him was his handwriting for the address. Mark watches me with an odd intensity. Did I spark his interest when I mentioned the record? Is it something else? Concern? Fear? Could you describe the record to me? I can do better than that. I'm about to fish out the record out of my bag when Mark gestures to me to stop. He hails someone who's rummaging the reggae afro beat box behind me. Hey, sir. His target turns with an air of feigned innocence. He's a guy in his 50s. He wears a black leather biker jacket and snug matching pants. His hair, which is slicked back rockabilly style, is, considering his age, the improbable uniform black of a bottle... What is the improbable uniform black of a bottle of hair dye? Can I help you? The guy gumbles in discontent, shakes his head, and saunters towards the exit. Mark waits for the closing door to ring the bell hanging above it before continuing. Did that guy follow you by any chance? Follow me? Yes, follow you. How should I put it? Do you have the feeling you're being watched since you received the record? What the fuck? Yes? Yes, I had the feeling being followed yesterday evening on my way home. But I figured I was being paranoid. Why would somebody tail me? And anyway, why would you suspect that guy especially? What the fuck is going on? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mark can't repress a smile. Two things. An old rockabilly who I don't know in my shop. They're an endangered species. I guarantee they all come in here, no exceptions, at least once a week for a coffee or a beer. Never buy anything, but they're all cool and they've always got amazing stories to tell. Okay, that seems like a bit of a stretch, but never mind. And? A guy in leather and boots going through the Afrobeat box for 10 minutes? If that's not suspicious. I burst out laughing. Okay, that is very suspicious, you're right. Mark leans over the counter to check who is actually in his shop. There's only a couple of students giggling in the depths of the shop, and a guy meticulously comparing the covers of 2 copies of Frank Zappa's Hot Rats, the headphones of an open access turntable clamped over his ears. Okay, the coast's clear. I slip the record from my bag and place it on the counter. It's a 45, white label, a test pressing? No scribe number in the groove. One of the 2 sides is a mirror side. Mark smiles. You haven't forgotten the jargon, then. After all the time I spent with Ulysses, I think it's lodged in my brain forever. You can put it away, I know what it is. Really? It's not a white label. It's an acetate. A single copy. That's why there's no matrix number. I put the record back in my bag. But I'm surprised you don't recognize it. Ulysses unearthed it a while before you split up. It was the only record he wanted to keep when he left. Which meant I had to buy a share of the stock. I would have preferred that he'd take the psychedelic shelf. Would have saved me taking out a bank loan. You know where it comes from? Well, no, I don't know how Ulysses got a hold of it. On the other hand, there are quite a few legends going around about that recording. Have you ever heard of Robert Johnson? A Mississippi blues guitarist from the 1930s. No. No, sorry, I can't say I have. He was an old Mississippi bluesman. And when I say old, I mean old. The 30s. He's the guy who invented tons of... Oh my god. That scared the shit out of me. Great blues riffs at a time when they were barely able to record them. He worked in the cotton fields, and from one day to the next, he got a hold of a guitar and was able to play it perfectly. The legend says he made a pact with the devil at a crossroads. He died suddenly in 1937? Or 1938? Oh, this guy, I think I remember hearing. Really? You've heard of him? Coffee? Are you familiar with music? Not particularly. I've definitely never heard of this guy, but I also live under the rock. Just something someone brought up. I mean, that's fair. That happens. We're getting jump scared in a non-horror game should only in a stream being a card. Shut the fuck up. Oh, I missed that. What did he say? Never mind. Nobody's sure of the date in any case. The cause of death is just as mysterious. Oh yes, I remember. He was the first member of the 27 Club, right? Exactly, or one of the first. The most comprehensive lists count 2 or 3 musicians before Johnson. Officially, he died at 27 years old. Like Joplin, Morrison, okay, Brian Jones, Nick Drake, or most recently Cobain. Is this a thing? All the artists who have shuffled off this mortal coil at 27 years of age. Coincidence or curse? I've never heard of this, but it's actually really interesting. What? That's a thing? Wait, the microgroove didn't exist back then. If it's really his music on the record, it should be a 78, shouldn't it? Precisely, I'm getting to that. So he died mysteriously at the end of the 30s. There are 2 or 3 witness reports from people who claim to have seen Johnson on stage during the 40s, nothing very reliable. The rest of the story, much less is well known, happens 20 years later a few hundred miles further north. Memphis, Tennessee. At the end of the golden age of Sun Studios, Elvis, right, had already left the label for RCA, and Carl Perkins had just had a car accident. And it was then that we rediscovered for the first time the recordings of Robert Johnson. Of course, all the producers of this era already knew them. With the rock and roll boom, there was a huge systematic appropriation of black music by white musicians. Shocking. It wasn't the first time it had happened, and unfortunately it wouldn't be the last. And Johnson's repertoire was a goldmine waiting to be plundered. Not just the blacks, either. Do you know that Link Ray was Amerindian? I don't know what that word means. I love this game. Ava! Hi. I'm literally playing this game because of you. I'm literally playing this game because of you. Here, let me give you blue. Like, you mentioned that you really enjoyed this game, and so I was like, okay, well then I have to get it. Yes. But my chat votes on the games that I play, and so this was the first time it had been like voted on, and it tied. And so I was like, all right, we're fucking playing this. It's really like a read, but I love this game. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. So, I mean, I know that you're a big music girl, but I am not. So a lot of things that are being mentioned, I'm like, I have no idea what half this shit is. I've never listened to a vinyl before or anything like that. So it's interesting. But I don't know what half this shit is. But it's still interesting. I'm learning a lot. So I don't mind. I don't mind even remotely. I'm like really curious about the mechanics behind this like record that we're learning about. because we've clearly like butterfly affected ourselves because of listening to this record. And I'm like really curious about what happens if she listens to it again and all this stuff. Like, it's very, I don't know. I'm like invested. She's also like, Alice is also kind of like already written off her current life, or what was her life, and which is interesting. I'm like, if I were her, the first thing I would do is try to get my old life back because it's what I know, you know? I don't want to have lost the 3+ years with Jean Baptiste. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know her very well yet. So. But the game is super interesting so far. At least I think. And I'm also learning a lot about music history right now. Super Valid, yeah. I mean, I think everyone has their own opinion on what they would do in this situation. Like, Alice clearly stated that she was very afraid of messing her life up even more. Because, like, which I think is also valid, but I don't know. I don't know. Amerindian is Native American, basically? Okay, thank you, Wiz. Wiz is helping me translate all the particularly French things. Because this game is very French. It's very French. And it's like subtly French, you know? But, yeah. Anyways, I appreciate you stopping by. I'm very grateful that you shared this game with me. Okay, where were we? I need to click on the game again. Link Ray was Amerindian. It was sent to me by the devs like a while ago. Oh, really? This game came out in like COVID, I want to say, if I remember right. Well, I'm glad they sent it to you, so that way you could pass it on to me. When you think of the major history contribution of a track like Rumble to the history of rock, I can feel Mark starting to ramble, and I intervene to get him back on subject. So, Sun Studios, then? Yes, sorry, I'm getting off the point. So, this old black guy, but I need to go eat dinner. Enjoy. I hope it's super, super tasty, and you enjoy yourself. And I hope the rest of your impression stream went very well. So this old black guy with a guitar knocks on the studio door. The guy is kind of strange, but he insists to the receptionist that he wants to see the producer. It's late, there's hardly anyone left in the office, and she can't get rid of him. Finally, she calls Sam Phillips, the boss, who stayed to work late that day. Sam Phillips arrives, asks what's going on, the guy introduced himself. Hello, I'm Robert Johnson, I've come to record a track. The double period with the quotes? It's very funny. And that's where this record comes from? Absolutely. Are you okay? I'm not boring you, am I? You know what I'm like. I can go on for hours. Shall I tell you the rest? Absolutely. I really want to know where this record comes from. Because, like, that's what I'm most curious about. With pleasure. I find these old stories fascinating. Okay, so Phillips finds himself in the lobby of Sun Records with a filthy old black guy who claims to be Robert Johnson. First, he asks him to come back tomorrow, but Johnson won't listen. He needs to record, and he needs to record right now. He'd have the hounds of hell on his tail. Satan would claim to come to reclaim his soul. You get the picture. Philip knew Johnson's story. He's heard his records, and he was, above all, a businessman. person sitting opposite him was clearly pretty unstable psychologically, but where was the risk in putting him in a booth to record a few tracks? They scribble down a contract, Johnson is taken to a studio, Phillips goes back to what he's doing. 2 or 3 hours later, there's this god-awful noise which echoes through the whole building. It comes from Studio B, where Johnson is recording. The witnesses said that when they entered the room, there was a strong smell of sulfur. The technician was in a fetal position under the console, and Johnson was gone, as if he'd just vanished. They called an ambulance for the technician. They say the poor guy spent the rest of his life in a mental asylum. Holy shit. All they found in the studio was the old Gibson L1, which Johnson arrived with, broken into pieces, and the track which was recorded during the session, recorded on acetate. Mark nods his head at my handbag. Your record. Philip takes it to his office, where it stays for many years. And from that moment, fortune smiled on him again. Sun Records bounced back by signing Johnny Cash. Perkins recovered from his accident and returned to the studio. But the good luck only lasted for a while. After a long decline in the 60s, the back catalog was sold off to the highest bidder and the studio closed down. The place is some sort of rock and roll museum these days. Anyways, that's it. All that to say that this recording is kind of the holy grail of record collectors, if you get what I mean. There are plenty of crazies who say it's got magical powers. If I were you, I'd be very careful. That record attracts trouble. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. And to be honest, it makes me pretty anxious about Ulysses. It's obviously the most precious thing he possesses. Him sending it to you by post like that, that's not a good sign. After everything you told me, yes, it is worrying. You have his telephone number. The simplest thing would be to try to reach him for a start, right? Mark nods and picks up the handset. He hangs up a few seconds later. I send him direct to his answer phone, telling me my correspondence voicemail box is full. Which isn't totally surprising for Ulysses. We're interrupted by the sound of the bell which hangs above the door. A young girl with a striking 60s style approaches the counter. We don't know when this game takes place, right? In my head it took place in the teens, the 20 teens. But I don't actually know that. Because they're talking about 50s and 60s musics and styles, which makes me think it could be in the 90s, 80s or 90s, but I don't actually know that. Someone who's dressed in the style of the 60s. The 60s was, 50 years ago? She asked shyly if there are any tickets for the Belle and Sebastian next month at the Femina. Mark takes the tickets from beneath the counter and makes the sale. I gaze after the young woman as she leaves. Mark clears his throat loudly at me. He watches me with a smirk. I realized I was probably staring at his customer so hard that he noticed. That style would suit you. Do you think? Oh, 2 things lit up that time, the spiral and the flower. I surprised myself considering the possibility. Then again, it's not as if my job gives me much leeway fashion-wise. I don't know, I'm not persuaded that my boss would find it quite as cool as you do. What was in your head going into finance? I'm back now, missing any translation? No. Got a lot of music history. Specifically about music in the 1940s and 50s with rock and roll. I'm a personal financial advisor in a little city center bank in Bordeaux. It's not exactly what I'd call going into finance. Anyway, what were we saying? That Ulysses is impossible to reach and that's not really surprising? I'll give you his address if you want. Do you go up to Paris sometimes for work? Mark grabs a paper and pen. It can happen like once a year max. In any case, it's not going to happen anytime soon. Same for me, I just got back from vacation. It'd be kind of tricky to justify a trip to Paris. How far is Bordeaux from Paris? I have no idea where Bordeaux is. Bordeaux, France. Bordeaux is in southwest France. And is about 6 hours by car. Or about 3 hours by train? Bus? Train? Interesting. Okay. I've written down his number 2, just in case. Mark gives me the paper. The first thing to hear anything calls the other. Alright? I nod. Thanks, Mark. You drop by more often. It's good to see you. As they say, don't be a stranger. Alright. I'll try to come by more often in the future. My apartment looks like a bomb site. That is a transition. Holy shit. What the fuck? I'd sensed something was wrong as soon as I had entered the communal areas. The door of my apartment was already ajar when I pushed it open, and I prepared myself for the spectacle I was about to confront. Every square centimeter had been carefully searched, every closet emptied, every drawer turned out. I pick up a cushion which lays on the living room floor and replace it on the couch before dropping down next to it, dejected. Call the police? Hello? I realized that Mark's warnings weren't unfounded. Somebody really wants that record. And that person is ready to enter my home while I'm away to achieve their ends. Yeah, this shit is terrifying. Holy shit. Put that record on and put your life back on track, girl. Do not stay in this timeline. Was it the old rockabilly who was spying on me in the record store? It didn't seem particularly dangerous. On the other hand, a record with the power to change the past. I totally understand that someone might want to get a hold of it, even if that means breaking a few laws along the way. I guess there are a few things that I might be tempted to change myself. Like receiving the record in the first place. Getting your life back on track with Jean-Baptiste, so... We all have our regrets, our missed opportunities. I glance at the turntable. It's been thrown on the floor, and the tone arm has been flown under the dresser. Just as well, at least I won't be tempted to listen to it again. Oh, well, okay. I guess that's that. At least not until I have a better understanding of how the record works. At the moment, the only solid lead I have is Ulysses. I take out my phone and dial the number that Mark gave me. Maybe I'll be luckier than him, you never know. Apparently not, because I'm also welcomed by the recorded operator's voice telling me in a monotone voice that your correspondence voicemail box is full. Beneath the number, there's an address in Saint-Ouen? Saint-Ouen? Owen? Is that how that's pronounced, Wiz? I know what I have to do. I begin by calling a locksmith to come and repair my door. Girl, called the police. Your house was just broken into. What the fuck? To come and repair my door while I drag my suitcase from the top of the closet. Next, I try to call my boss, the bank manager, but he's already switched off his work phone for the night. Damn. I have to drop in at the bank tomorrow to let him know I'm going. I spend the evening tidying up the apartment. The next day, my boss is understanding but firm and insists that I transfer all my ongoing files to my colleagues. In the end, I only managed to catch a train to Paris at the end of the afternoon. Okay, well, I guess that's that. Chapter 2. Paris. A ray of light seeping between the curtains wakes me. It was 11 p.m. when I reached Montparnasse. last night, and I checked into the first little hotel I'd stumbled on when I left the station. I checked the time. 11 o'clock. I haven't slept this late for years. Of course, after recent events, sleep hadn't exactly come easy. My window looks out over Boulevard Raspail and gives me a superb view of Paris in a downpour. Hi, Aki. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great day. I somehow survived. Listen, if you need to go to sleep, girl, go to sleep. I will not blame you. We're playing Across the Grooves. It's... I have BPSR dailies to get done. Oh my lord. To catch you up on what's going on, basically, we had a boyfriend of 3 years, and our ex sent us a record, and we listened to the record, and it sent us into the past, and we made a slightly different decision than we had made in the past, and we, like, butterfly affected ourselves. And now we are no longer with the boyfriend of 3 years, and we're trying to track down the ex, to, like, figure out, like, what the fuck is up with the record. We've learned that the record is made by a guy named Robert Johnson in, like, the 1960s after he was supposed to have died. And he's, like, a black guitarist from the 1930s who, like, quote-unquote made a deal with the devil to, like, gain the ability to play music. And he had, like, come back somehow from beyond the grave to, like, record this record. That's kind of like where we're at. Huh? Yeah, it's a kind of a lot. But that's a lot, yeah. So we are now in the possession of a record made by, like, I don't know, a devil-touched blues guitarist. And by listening to it, we have changed our life irrevocably. And we're trying to track down the person who sent us the record. It's Saint Ouen, I'm pretty sure, but it's very French even for me. You're so real. Perfect weather for my trip to the flea markets. Consider taking the record with me, but decided it's probably more secure in the safe in my room. That I disagree. I vehemently disagree. If you need to keep something safe, the best place to keep it is on you. As the rain lets up a little, I walk to the local brasserie that I used to go to occasionally as a student. Usually when I come to Paris, it's a quick return trip to the head office of the bank I work for in La Défense. That was just broken. No. This is in a different city. She's talking about the hotel safe. The apartment, we're now in Paris. We're no longer in Bordeaux. No, you're good. You're good. It's pleasant to be able to enjoy the capital without the constant stress, even if I'm not exactly on vacation. Maybe it's a matter of context, I don't know, but I think to myself that this could be a great opportunity to hook up with some of my old college friends. I think you have more pressing concerns than meeting up with college friends. What? I sit at a terrace under the awning, light a cigarette, and order a croque monsieur and a coffee. I believe that's like a ham and cheese croissant, if I remember right. I mentally catalog my old friends and realize that those that I haven't lost track of have, like me, moved out to the provinces. Of course, there's my old prank pal, Frank Duval. Last I heard, he still lives here. Yeah, it's ham and cheese? Alright. See, I remember some things. I call him, see if he wants to meet up for a drink. Girl, you are trying to track down the person who sent you a life-changing record. Why are you why are you trying to meet up with some random person from the good old days? Don't call Frank. Focus. Also, Rengoku is demanding attention. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go feed Rengoku and get some more water. Give me like a couple minutes. Yeah. Are you hungry? The hungriest boy. You're the most handsome. Okay, he's eating. I've acquired more water. There. I'm here to find answers. This isn't the time to get sidetracked. True. I finished my croque monsieur, pay the bill, and set off toward the nearest subway entrance. The rain is falling again when I get to Saint Ouen. Ouen? The address that Mark gave me is stall 73 in the Jules Vallée Market. I have trouble finding my way among the different markets, and I stop several times and ask for directions. When I finally stumble upon the entrance to the Norisvastrada market, it's well into the afternoon and some of the stalls are already closing. I hope I'm not going to pay for my lion by finding myself facing a closed metal shutter. I work my way down a lane to stall 73. Unfortunately, instead of an old record stall I'd hoped to find, the place is taken by a bookseller. A bit further along, there's a stall selling 1950s furnishings, which also has a few boxes of old records. Above the storefront, a sign announces Patty's Store, Hardware and Records. Maybe the owner, a young woman who looks like a Betty Page imitator, will be able to help me. On the other hand, the bookseller is unhurriedly moving his boxes of books inside. I wait a few minutes undecided when the bookseller, an old man with a mustache, approaches me. Pierre Duplot. Hello, young lady. Come on, don't be scared. He beckons me closer. I mean, this guy is talking to me, so I will just talk to him. I decide to question the bookseller. Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre Duplot. Good to meet you. He holds out a hand. I shake it. Stanley? It does kind of look like Stanley. I'm not gonna lie. Are you interested in old books? Can I help you with something? Yes, at least maybe. I'm looking for a stall that sells vinyl records. The address I was given is your pitch. I show him the paper with the address. Ah, yes, I remember him. Ulysses. A nice boy. He was doing some research into the thelema. He gave his stall up to me when he left Paris. What? The thelema? What's that? Yes, you know, the occult movement founded by Crowley, among others. Crowley? The name's familiar. Aleister Crowley, an Englishman, who wrote the Liber Alvelegis. Must have heard of it. There are plenty of fictional works that refer to it, a bit like Lovecraft or Edgar Allan Poe. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. I've got a very nice copy if you'd like, an American first edition in excellent condition. If you're really interested in the subject, the Theosophists? Yeah, Theosophists are much more informative than Crowley. However, you had been Blavatsky instead of wasting your time with melodramatic Satan worshippers. He grabs a thick leather-bound volume labeled Isis Unveiled from the shelf. I realize the conversation is getting out of hand. He starts trying to sell me his merchandise. I'll never get him back on track. I have to refocus this discussion fast. Look, sir, I'm sorry, but I'm not interested in your books. I just want to find my friend. The old man looks crushed. He must be a real fanatic. I'm sorry, dude. Ah, I see. Well, the young lady, all I know for sure is that he had left me have his pitch. When I asked him why he wanted to give me such a great pitch, I think he said something about London to continue his research. I have to admit I wasn't really concerned. After all, it's none of my business. Anyway, that's all I can tell you. He just wanted to sell his comics? Wiz, please. But you should ask Patricia. She's got a stall a bit further down the row. He points to a stall full of 1950s. Okay, yeah. It's called Ches Patty. She might be able to tell you more, considering that they were seeing a lot of each other, she and your friend, if you know what I mean. Ah. Coffee. '07 Stanley. The bookseller looks at his watch. Well, if you excuse me, it's time to shut up shop. I don't have any advice for you, but you should hurry if you want to talk to Patty. And if you're ever looking for a particular publication, do let me know. Thank you, Mr. Duplot. Good evening. I know what I have to do. I approached the young woman who was writing in a large notebook. The day's accounts, probably. Hello. I guess you're Patty. Looks up at me and answers with a slight Italian accent. Patricia, Patty's for the tourists. What can I do for you? I'm looking for the owner of the old record store on page 73, Ulysses. The new stall owner told me that you knew him. Patricia gives me a broad smile as she gazes at me. Let me guess. Alice, right? She bursts out laughing at my startled expression, delighted to have astounded me, but without a trace of spite. It's funny, you're not at all how I imagined you'd be. But how? Oh, it's simple. Ulysses told me about you, of course. He really screwed his head up when you left him, you know. Wait, he's the one who left me? Patricia stares at me. Straight away I regret my outburst. How do you two know each other? He took stall 73 about, 4 years ago? He was just next door and he seemed nice, so I went over to say hello and we became friends. Something tells me they were more than just friends. I'm reluctant to ask her. I don't need to know. I don't care. Like, that's fine. I decide that I prefer not to know, but I suppose my agitation must be obvious. Patricia snorts with laughter again. The situation seems to amuse her enormously. But there's no hostility, no spite. Just a disarming honesty, paired with a certain audacity. Yes, we were having your sex, your man and I. Damn. He even lived at my place for a while when he first arrived in Paris. But it didn't work out? Patricia gives a theatrical sigh, intensely Italian. No, but it had nothing to do with you, my dear. We weren't meant to last. Ulysses wasn't really my type, if you know what I mean. Patricia gives me a knowing smile and continues talking before I've really had a chance to figure out what she's trying to tell me. And I have to say that his happy music got on my nerves, his hippie music got on my nerves pretty quickly. Let me guess, you're more of a Cramps or Meteors type of girl, right? I don't know what that means. Exactly. We could see eye to eye on the Sonics and the Kinks. But that gave us a pretty small common ground. I don't know what that means. I assume these are bands. And of course, I soon realized he was still hung up on you. Anyway, we broke up, but we stayed on good terms. He's not the type to hold a grudge here, Ulysses. Ask if she knows where he is. Do you know what happened to him after he left Paris? The new owner of his pitch told me he probably went to London. He left in a bit of a hurry, but that's what he told me too. What do you mean in a hurry? Well, it pretty much happened overnight. He didn't want to tell me exactly why he was leaving. To tell the truth, I thought he was leaving for you, to go back to you. I guess I was wrong. Patricia rummages in her bag and pulls out her cell phone. She checks the time. It's time to close up. Do you have plans for this evening? Her question catches me unawares. I don't have anything planned. Why? Perfect. In that case, you're coming with me. I'm going to introduce you to someone. Someone who might be able to tell you more about Ulysses. Help me shut up shop? I help Patricia stow away the record crates and the small pieces of furniture that were beneath the awning. Then he pulls down the metal shutter. Then we head toward the way out. 3 hours and 2 gin and tonics later, I'm still waiting to meet Patricia's mystery man. Damn. We left Jewel Valet Market and we caught a metro, then another. Patricia had steered me to a grotty bar in a little street in the 11th arrondissement near the Bastille. The music, an eclectic mix of garage, rockabilly, and psychedelic, blaring out at an almost deafening volume, and the extremely reasonable price of drinks seemed to be the major selling points of the joint. I could not tell you what noise they're trying to evoke. Garage, rockabilly, and psychedelic. Is that like... I couldn't tell you what that means. I'm sorry. We found Patrizia's friends. We quickly hit it off. Paul and John are record store owners. They recall meeting Ulysses when he was in Paris and going out with Patrizia. This doesn't particularly surprise me. Ulysses tends to stick in your mind. Justine works at a town hall in the 8th arrondissement, and Claudia in a clothes shop in Châtelet. Luke, who must be getting on for 50, is part of the technical crew at the Olympia. Whatever that is. Talk a lot about music. We chat a little about our lives. Paul tries to flirt mildly with me, but Patrizia feases him with a look, and he stops, a little embarrassed. When I ask Patrizia which of her friends I should question about Ulysses, she tells me that Enzo isn't there yet, and that he'll be there later after work. Ordering another drink when I feel Patrizia's hand on my arm. She speaks my ear above the hubbub. Come on, I'm going to introduce you to Enzo. I follow her to the end of the bar to find that a new arrival has joined the little group. Ah, a man, rather advanced in years, dressed in a velvet suit with a flowery shirt. He gives a shout of laughter, an easy smile creasing his white-bearded face. His presence is magnetic. The image of an old wizard runs through my head, but I have a sense that this man is very down-to-earth, rooted in reality and delighting in life. I've met several people like this, and they are always a blast. Ah, Patrizia, Vengaki. Is he Spanish? Sounds Spanish to me. Kisses the young woman affectionately, like an old uncle kissing his favorite niece, which makes me wonder if they're maybe related in some way. And he turns to me. Good evening. I don't think we know each other, yes? No, I'm Alice. Nice to meet you. He speaks with a strong Italian accent, which strengthens my idea of a family connection. Okay, so he's Italian. Enzo, I don't know if you remember Ulysses. You know I introduced you? At the mention of my ex, a shadow passes over the old man's smiling face. Alice is looking for him, and I suggest that she meet you, seeing as you and Ulysses got on so well. Do you know what happened to him after he left Paris? Enzo gestures me to follow him. Come with me. We're going to going somewhere we can talk without shouting. Oh, okay. Enzo and I walk out of the bar, and end up on the and up the road to a little courtyard. Hopefully he doesn't try to mug me for the fucking record. Enzo sits on a bench and I sit down next to him. He lights a cigarette and then offers me the pack. I accept one and let him light it for me. Damn, she really took up smoking again. Like she had quit smoking, and then like in this life she had never quit smoking, and she's just like, yeah, I'm smoking, I guess. That's probably one of the more interesting like character choices, because like if you hadn't smoked in years, like mentally, but your body still like needs, it's like you'd have to be like quitting again, right? It's strange. I'm not going to make any bones about it. What does that mean? If I mention a certain record, a 45, with a white sleeve, well, I'm caught off guard by this question. Should I be wary of this man? Or can I trust him? I'm gonna tell this guy the truth. Hopefully he doesn't try to murder me. 1 second. One second. Okay. Yes, I know the record you're talking about. It's one of the reasons I'm trying to find Ulysses. One? Is that not the only reason? Is there more reasons? I suppose it's because of this record he got in contact with you, right? Enzo smiles. Yes and no. As you've guessed, yes, I listened to the record a long time ago. The fact that Ulysses and I met is really just chance or destiny. Have you seen the film La Circle? La. Is it just Circle? Le Circle Rouge? No. No, sorry, it doesn't ring a bell. That doesn't surprise me. It's a very old French crime movie with Alain Delon and Yves Montand. The red circle, literally? Okay, thank you. At the start of the film, Jean-Pierre Melville, the director, invented a quote which he attributed to Gautama, and which I think perfectly applies to all the people who have listened to that record. When men, even unknowingly, are to meet one day, whatever may befall each, whatever the diverging paths, on the said day they will inevitably come together in the red circle. Okay. Seeing my confusion, Enzo adds, there aren't so many of us who have listened to the record, but our paths keep crossing, as if our fates were linked. What? Meow? Come here. That's a good boy. There we go. He's eating more. When men, even unknowingly, are to meet one day, whatever may befall each, whatever the diverging paths, on that said day, we will inevitably come together in that circle. Okay. I suppose you have listened to the record too. You must understand what I'm talking about. Enzo glances at me out of the corner of his eye. I'm sure he's reading my face like an open book. Believe it or not, I really did meet Ulysses by chance. What were the chances that he would rent the pitch next to my niece's? Or that they would hit it off? So much that she introduced me to him because we shared a passion for psychedelic music. It's true, that's strange. What is psychedelic music? Can someone give me a... Does anyone here know what the fuck that means? What that's referring to? What genre of music that's referring to? Like a band or something to go off of? Because I have no idea what the fuck psychedelic music is. Sounds like, I don't know, 60s or 70s music? Like Jimi Hendrix, maybe? Pink Floyd? Maybe? I have no idea. Let me Google this. Psychedelic music. Can I get an example? No. Holy shit, just Wikipedia, give me something. Yeah. Uh, yeah, for like rock, yeah, Pink Floyd. There's a lot of bands here that I do not recognize, even remotely. I'm gonna be honest. Jimi Hendrix? Yeah, okay. I can picture that. Pink Floyd, Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, sure. Excuse me. Holy shit, I did not realize I was gonna have to, like, seriously warm up my throat. Why are you looking for him? He contacted me by mail a few days ago. I knew straight away that something wasn't right. Enzo takes a deep breath and rolls his eyes. He wanted to know more about the record, to know where it came from, to know how it worked. He told me about you, you know. Really? I mean, we split up years ago. He hasn't forgotten you. Last I saw him, he talked about London. He had a song lead. Yes, that's what the new owner of his stall told me. You know, London, it's big. He said a solid lead. Can you be more precise? Enzo looks troubled. I'm sorry, Ulysses dropped by to see me. I was at work. He said something about a DJ. Something Putman, maybe? A DJ? Yes, on the radio. Oh, a radio presenter? Did he say which station? Enzo shrugs. That doesn't help me much. But it's better than nothing, I suppose. Enzo must see the disappointment in my face because he adds, if I know you'd be looking for him, I'd have asked for more details. We were quiet for a moment. I think Enzo has told me all he knows about Ulysses, which isn't much. Cut the conversation short and suggest we go back to the bar. I could also ask him to tell me his story. He hasn't told me how he came to have the record. Sure, why not? You haven't told me how you came to have the record. It's a long story. Are you sure you want to listen to the ramblings of an old man? I smile. Yes, since I asked, of course I'm interested. Enzo looks delighted. Very well, I warned you. He stabs you. I played in a musica psychedelica band when I was young in Italy. We played a lot of concerts. We even took part in some of the big festivals at the time. Glastonbury, the Isle of Wight. We weren't as good as Airplane or The Dead, but we weren't bad. At least a record with a little label over there. What was your band called? Cuore della Terra. That means the heart of the earth. Before I can find the words to tell him that the name meant nothing to me, Enzo rescues me from my confusion by adding, oh, it's normal you've never heard of us. We didn't sell much. When I'm in a record store, I always check the 60s box, hoping to find a copy. I've only come across 4 since the band broke up. I guess the unsold ones are in a warehouse somewhere, or they've just been destroyed. Came out in 1971. The golden age was almost over. If we'd started a few years earlier, we could have had a chance. At least I think so. Anyway, we were discovered by Vertigo. Philips' experimental label? That's it. They were already a prestige label at the time, and we thought if we signed with them, our success was guaranteed. Giuseppe, our guitarist, promised them a really ambitious concept double album. They just released 666 from Aphrodite's Child, and they thought we had the chops to make the same type of album, but with our Italian feel. They sent us to Paris to record at the Europa Sonar Studio, where Aphrodite's Child recorded 666. That's where I listened to the record. The record company had sent us this Russian to deal with the production. Sergei Ivanovich. Really talented guy. The stuff he could pull out of a studio recording, it was miraculous. How should I say it? He was crazy. Crazy? In what way? Where do I start? He took an incredible amount of drugs. I mean, I guess it was the 70s, right? 1971. He was unpredictable. Giuseppe adored him straight away. Me, I preferred to keep my distance. When he arrived at the studio with the record, he introduced it as the ultimate psychedelic trip. Better than ayahuasca. Jesus Christ. Giuseppe listened to it first. He convinced the other members of the band to listen too. I didn't put up much of a fight. After all, it was just a record. It couldn't be worse than listening to the B-side of White Light, White Heat on acid, right? And he just stops. I turn to him. His eyes are damp. I realize that the record probably stole a piece of his life too. A piece of him. Record stole someone from you too? Enzo sighs. Yes, you could say that. The record made me relive my past. Before I listened to it, I was married, and my wife, Julia, was expecting our first child. When I came back to reality, she was dead. A car accident 2 years earlier. Holy shit. What the fuck? That's crazy. And it was my fault. I never knew what Giuseppe or the others saw when they listened to the record, or if they changed their past. I never asked them. Of course, I listened to a record again and again. I listened again and again to the record the next day, after I realized it had destroyed my life, my familia. And, did you succeed? No. The record never again gave me a moment when I could have stopped the accident. Oh my god. That's awful. That's actually horrifying. But after each time I listened, my present changed, bringing me back to a reality that was further and further from my memories. The record sounds like a bitch. It does. I didn't care. All I wanted was to get my Julia back. No matter what I tried to change, she was dead and I was in the studio recording a record. What happened after? The band collapsed. I needed to grieve and no one understood what I was going through. No one could understand, really. When I resurfaced a few months later, I was a pizza cook in a restaurant in the 11th arrondissement. Our album was almost finished when I left. Saying as there was no more band to promote it, Vertigo never released it. Giuseppe was the only one to stay in music. He had a little success in Italy in the 80s. A disco track under an American-sounding stage name. And then my sister moved to France after she separated from her daughter's father. Her daughter, Patrizia, I assume. Enzo smiles. There you go. Now you know everything. Disco mention? Yeah. Disco music bangs, for the record. Do you know what happened to the record afterward? When I stopped trying to change the past, the record stole back. When I stopped trying to change the past, the record stole back to how it was. I pretty much stopped going to the studio. It was too painful. Like I told you, the project was abandoned. Sergey went to London to work on other records for Vertigo. The other band members went back to Italy. And me, I stayed in France. After all, there was no one waiting for me back home. Jesus Christ, that's so fucking sad. Holy shit. We sit in silence on the bench. Enzo has lit another cigarette. He finishes it, crushes it out, and we go back to the bar. Eat it. Eat your food. Eat it. The place has started to empty, and the end of the evening is drawing near. I would have gone back 100 million times, and after I would have destroyed that record if it didn't give me my life back. Yeah, I mean, you're so for real for that. I mean, it's quite clear it's like cursed in some way, right? Like it's not even like fuck that record. Yeah, I can't imagine going through something like that. Like, you listen to a record that someone's like, hey, check this thing out, and they just put it on, and you're just like, and then someone you know and care about has fucking died. Like, that's crazy. That's some straight up, like, heinous shit. Holy shit. I missed that one, let's say. Background music, firmly rock and roll when we left, has melded into soul. Soul is also good music. Music is good, I just never listen to it. Our group have migrated to a table at the back of the bar. I pick up my barely touched drink and sit down. The ice is melted, a pity. Enzo chats to Paul. He looks so cheerful, as if nothing was wrong. I'm trying to organize my thoughts when I feel the hand on my thigh. Patrizia sits next to me. Was Enzo able to help you? I consider the question for a few seconds. Honestly, he mostly just confirmed what I already knew. That said, he was kind enough to tell me about his past. The record stole his wife from him, his familia, as he says. At least Jean-Baptiste is still alive in this reality. Yeah, so true. At least our boyfriend is alive. Even if we're no longer with him. But it reaffirmed my belief that the record shouldn't be used lightly. It also confirmed that you can't get your life back. Who knows what strange version of me I could find myself in. I realize that Patrizia is still waiting for my answer. Yes. Yes, he helped. Yes, thank you for introducing me to your uncle. He confirmed that I was on the right track. Ah, that's great. And it let us get to know each other better too. We're interrupted by Justine, who's getting up, signaling us that she's ready, closely followed by Claudia and Paul. We exchange kisses. Luke, John, and Enzo seem to be deep in a heated discussion. Patrizia turns to me. I'm going to head off soon too. Can I offer you a last drink at my place? I live 3 blocks away. I wasn't born yesterday. The signals that Patrizia has been sending me all evening are pretty clear. It's clearly not just a last drink that she's offering. Yuri? Do we go Yuri? On one hand, I could see it as cheating on Jean-Baptiste. On the other, this moment will probably be erased when I listen to that record again. When I listen to that record again? Are we even planning on listening to it again? But also, you're not cheating on him because you're not together in this reality, right? Either way, you probably shouldn't just be, like, banging someone you met, like, I don't know, a couple hours ago that also had sex with your ex. It's just messy. I flirted with a few women during my college years, first years of college, but I never took it all the way. I was too conventional. Maybe I was scared of being ostracized. This moment outside my true reality, wouldn't it be the right time to try something new without risking the consequences? Well, that's not how this works, because this isn't you're outside your true reality, it's your new true reality. Right? Like, we just learned that you can't get your life back. Like, this is just your reality now. Not like a blip that will never exist again. Do we Yuri? I don't like her attitude towards it, really, more than anything. Always Yuri. Alright. Okay, a last drink. I put my hand over hers. With pleasure. So let's go. Patrizia gets up and says goodbye to her uncle and friends. I was saying that I follow her out and we are swallowed up by the Parisian night. I let Patrizia guide me through the narrow streets. For several hundred meters, I have the feeling of being watched again. Patrizia noticed and asked me what's wrong. I feel like someone's following us. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Sorry, I heard Yuri? Yeah. We are being propositioned by this girl that used to date our ex and has helped us and is pretty chill, all things considered. Do you think? He looks around. Oh, you're right, I know this guy. Further down the sidewalk, I can make out the shape of a man in a leather jacket. Hey, stop following us, Eddie. We've seen you. Eddie? Yes, it's actually Jean-Luc Granville. But he prefers to be called Eddie Black. He's a loser, a has-been. After hesitating for a moment, he comes toward us. When he passes beneath a street lamp, I recognize his face. It's the old rockabilly who was listening to my conversation with Mark 2 days ago in Bordeaux. Bro has followed us across the country. Holy shit. Sorry, Patty, I didn't want to bother you. I just want to speak to the young lady. He jerks his chin in my direction. Well, first, the young lady has a name. She's called Alice. Nope, yeah, this guy is big fucking trouble. Holy shit. Secondly, it's the middle of the night in a back street. Do you really think it's the right moment to ask anyone anything? If you have to say something to my friend, you say it at a decent time and place, okay? But there is no but. Go on, get out of here. Eddie hesitates again, opens his mouth to speak, thinks again, then looking sheepish heads off in the other direction. Patrizia watches him until he turns a corner and is out of sight. He lives in a neighborhood. I bump into him a lot. Yuri was the correct choice, for sure, because otherwise we'd be walking home alone with this guy following us. Fuck no. Holy shit. No thank you. He's not a bad guy, but he's kind of loose. He's definitely a bad guy. He wouldn't stop hassling Ulysses about some rare record. I hope he won't bother you too much with all that. It worries me. I have to admit, it does worry me a bit all the same. He followed me from Bordeaux. I already caught him listening in on my conversations. And my apartment was searched. Searched? Honestly, I can't see Eddie breaking into people's homes. Are you sure it wasn't just a burglary? I shake my head. No, whoever broke in didn't steal anything. It has to have something to do with Ulysses. I don't know what he's got himself into, but I'd be careful if I were you. Patrizia stops in front of a turn-of-the-century building with a coach gate. Well, here we are. She runs in her bag for her keys, and we climb the 6 flights up to her little apartment under the eaves. The interior reflects her perfectly lush and baroque, with lots of 1950s furniture. When does this game take place, do you think? They have cell phones, though, right? Because they called on the cell? To be fair, I think since he was tailing you, it was maybe someone else. I mean, maybe, but still, like, it doesn't matter. He shouldn't be tailing us. If he's got something to do with us, he should just fucking talk to us. It's still creepy to follow us across the country multiple times because apparently he lives here in Paris. Like, what the fuck? This guy is definitely not okay. He directs me to do the same while she goes to get us a drink. I sit down on her shabby old sofa. Oh no, I meant there's probably more than one. I mean, you're probably right, yeah? The crackling of the record gives way to the smooth voice of a crooner, accompanied by a few sultry notes. Probably Sinatra. Tricia returns the 2 cocktail glasses full of clear liquid, olives bobbing at the bottom of each. I found the makings of a gin martini. I hope you like it. She puts the glass on the coffee table and snuggles up against me. After all the signals she's been sending me this evening, her intentions couldn't be clearer. I really don't want to finish in night to finish in her bed. I need to tell her right now. That in mind, I need to be extremely tactful if I don't want to upset her. I also take the lead and show her that we're on the same wavelength. I mean, Yuri. I take her face gently between my hands and press a shy kiss onto her mouth, which she returns with favor. We stay on the couch for a while, intertwined. Then she takes my hand and guides me to her bedroom. Oh, I don't know that I can show this. Oh my god. Okay. Well, I hope I don't get banned. Okay. That was unexpected. I'm sorry. Well, okay. Oops. There was no warning about that. Don't mind me. Okay. I'm woken by the sound of water running through the ancient pipes and the ray of sunshine which filters through the blinds. No streamer mode? There wasn't one in the options, so I just assumed that all of the music and all of the images would be fine. I've hardly had time to surface, stretch, and sit up in the bed when Patricia puts her head round the door. Oh, you're awake? Yes, I answer, stifling a yawn. I mean, it's artistic, it's probably fine. I mean, maybe, but I don't fucking know that. That could very well be against TOS regardless of the intention, right? Do you mind if I finish getting ready in here? I still have to open my stall at 11. I shake my head. I'm gonna leave Patrizia behind, I think, and then put it back up. We've changed scenes. Here, I'll show you. But I don't know if she's gonna come back naked at all. Patricia, her hair wrapped in a towel, crosses the room and opens the blinds, then the window. The sun is shining brightly outside, and early fall chill dispels my sleepiness. She sits in front of her dressing table and begins to apply her makeup. So you're leaving for London next, are you? That's right. Soon as I dropped into my hotel and got myself a train ticket. Do you have something to go on to find Ulysses over there? Your uncle told me about a radio presenter, somebody Putman, but he wasn't sure. Except for that, not much, unfortunately. Patricia's hand, which holds her mascara, freezes, and she seems to be thinking something over. I'll give you one of his contacts, a record store guy. He came and spent a weekend in Paris when we were together, your man and I. A really good guy, you'll see. She grabs a notepad and eyeliner, which lies on her dressing table, notes down a name and address. Alan O'Reilly? Oh, you wouldn't know him. It was me who introduced him to Ulysses. He's an old friend of mine, actually. I laid the paper on the bedside table. Thank you. At least I know where to start when I get to London. Patricia gives me a big smile in the mirror. You're welcome. Plus, I had a great evening, and a just as lovely night. I can feel the unexpected compliment has made me blush a bit despite myself. Sorry, this will be a bit noisy. Patricia seizes the hairdryer and begins to subdue her damp mass of brown curls. I watch her distractedly, trying to put some order in my thoughts. At least I've got somewhere to aim for in London. That's something. Okay, she is dressed now. Right, well, I have to run. Oh, one last thing, if you don't mind. I just heard to continue. It would be easier to talk to musicians and record guys if, how should I put it? I looked a bit less like a banker? That's it, exactly. I realized that actually I don't need to dress as if I were heading for the office. I'd pack my bag kind of on autopilot as if I were going to a conference. You're perfectly right. Anyway, if I continue my quest, I'll either have to buy new clothes or I'll have to drop by a laundromat. She leans over and kisses my cheek. There's coffee in the machine, and I left you a set of keys on the table. Take your time, have a shower if you want, and if you can drop the keys in the post box on the way out, that would be great. Thanks. An hour or so later, I leave the apartment too and head to my hotel. 1 o'clock, I'm heading on a train to London. I assume she took the record with her because it was in the hotel safe. I'm arriving at St. Pancras in just over 2 hours. It gives me the time to find a hotel and prepare my search. There's probably no better way of finding a record store owner than talking to record store owners. Is that Eddie behind you? I think it is. Right? Almost certainly. Can you guys see my mouse? You can, right? This guy right here. Eddie, maybe? I already have a name and an address. Alan O'Reilly. That's better than nothing. I'll take the opportunity to ask a few questions about the record too. Maybe I'll be able to get more precise information about this Putman than that Enzo mentioned. After my exciting nights, I spent a hectic morning running from subway to subway to catch the first train, and all on an empty stomach. If I'm going to be roaming London with my suitcase, I should eat something first. I grudgingly decided to take a wander to the buffet car to buy myself a sandwich, which is unlikely to be tasty, which will certainly be very expensive. Instinctively check the record is tucked well away at the bottom of my bag and begin the trek to car 13. I'm ordering a ham sandwich and a cup of insipid brown liquid which claims to be coffee, when I notice a poster suggesting that it may be a good idea to invest in a travel card. Check my wallet to see if I by any chance have forgotten Oyster card with a few credits on it from my last conference in London. As I feared, it must be on a shelf somewhere in my apartment in Bordeaux. Unless, of course, it simply doesn't exist at all in this reality. The steward behind the counter tells me that he's sorry, but they're all out of prepaid cards. Just resign myself to a long wait in line on my arrival in the bustle at King Station's Cross when the person behind me offers her card. I turn surprised. She's in her 30s with short hair and a trouser suit. Sure, thanks. Look, that's really kind of you, thanks. Out of curious, I add. Can I reimburse you for it? There's no need, really. Her French is excellent despite the touch of a foreign accent which I can't place. If you're really resolved on an exchange of resources, buy me a coffee and we'll call it even. I'm almost out of cash and I'll avoid me paying the card charges for such a small amount. And anyway, I wouldn't mind a bit of company if it'll help pass the time, don't you think? She holds out a hand. Eva, nice to meet you. Alice. I shake her hand, nod, and order another espresso for her. I join my generous benefactor who's taken a place near the counter. I slide the coffee to her. She slides the travel card to me. So tell me, Alice, what brings you to London? I take a minute to watch her before answering. This Eva is a bit odd. She's really not going to share my private business with a stranger, no matter how generous she is. Plus, there's nothing to convince me that she's not the umpteenth person who's wanted to steal Ulysses' record. Be evasive. I'm looking for someone close who I've lost contact with. Apparently, he might have gone to London. Oh, that's something exciting. Someone close? Maybe an ex-fiancé? Not exactly. We were never engaged, but we did live together, yes. That's a romantic story. I like it. Wonder why you want to make contact again. Let me guess. I'd say that you've lived through something that changed your view of the world and you're looking for answers. Is that it? Involuntary stiffen. So, in fact, she knows exactly who I am. Her presence in the line was no coincidence. She scrutinized me. Her eyes too intense, too piercing, making me extremely uneasy. As if she could plumb the depths of my soul with a glance. I try to regain control of the conversation by turning the question back on her. And you? What brings you to London? Well, you could say I lost something a few years ago, an object that was priceless to me, and my organization. Uh-oh. Oh no. After finally tracking it down, very recently I found that it had changed hands before I could, let's say, secure a transaction. If you see what I mean. This lady is here to murder us and steal the record. If I had any doubts about my companion's intentions before, they are now crystal clear. I could try to feign ignorance and slip away. I don't believe Ava's the type to make a scene in public. I could also finish this game of make-believe and confront her head-on about the record. Oh no. Oh no. Are we gonna fucking die if we just talk about it? Okay, so, I mean, you guys know me. When I play games like this, and the way I behave in real life, I just prefer to just be upfront and honest, because clear communication is, like, the blessing of all things. I don't know. But, like, I feel like if we are just, blunt about this, we could find ourselves in some deep shit. I don't know. But also, if we were, like, running from this woman and her colleagues, that could also put us on some deep shit if we're not up front. So, I don't know. Let's just fucking talk about it. Let's clear the airs early as possible, and maybe we won't die before the end of the game. Right, let's stop this little game and speak frankly. I do actually have in my possession a rare record, which was sent to me without any explanation of what would happen if I listened to it. The record stole my fiancée from me. Oh, they were engaged. She didn't have a ring, though. And I have no intention of letting it go before I have it. How do I put it, get back to my reality. If you know how I should do that, I'm all ears. Wiz is like, why would you do this? Ava gives me a half smile, tinged with a mixture of melancholy, weariness, and maybe a touch of irony. I'm not going to lie to you or comfort you with false hope. The chances of you managing to undo the effects of the record are extremely slim. The choir of the gods is not so easily mastered. What the fuck is that sentence? The choir of the gods is not so easily mastered. Holy shit. What a line. That's pretty metal? Yeah, that's some shit out of, like, D&D. The choir of the gods is not so easily mastered. That's crazy. However, if your ties with your fiancé were erased so easily, haven't you considered that perhaps it's because they weren't as strong as you thought? Bitch, Enzo's wife and child died in a car accident. That's not ties that were erased easily. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, she's just saying stuff now, yeah. How can you claim that when we don't even know each other? I don't need to know you to know that you're a lemming, like most of the people around us. Men and women who are truly capable of taking their fate into their own hands are rare. It requires a strength of the soul that I don't discern in you. You'll forgive me. Okay, let's set aside. Anyway, I don't feel like you're in the right state of mind to talk at the present. But something tells me that we'll meet again. And next time, I hope that with all my heart you'll be ready to return that which belongs to me. She turns to the window and watches the English countryside wash past, cutting off the conversation. I wait undecided for a moment before taking my sandwich and coffee, leaving the buffet car. The first thing I notice when I get back to my seat is my case is gone. You just fucking left it? At your seat? Girl, what are you doing? The first thing that you do when you're traveling is not just leave your luggage somewhere. What the fuck? Huh? Why? That has got to be the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Leaving your luggage unattended when traveling is like the first thing that you don't do. From which you must have one or several accomplices, unlike Eddie Black, who seems to be operating alone. I don't expect I'll see my case again, which in any case contained nothing of value, just some toiletries and a few clothes I'd brought with me. The record is safe in my handbag with my papers. My neighbor in the next seat looks like she's fast asleep, and I don't have the heart to wake her to ask if she noticed anything. As a salve to my conscience, I question the teenagers in the seat across the aisle, but they shrug their shoulders and murmur sorry, and dropped in my seat, struggling against panic. The thought of finding the conductor and telling him about my problem crossed my mind, but I banished it quickly. And what if that's what they expect me to do? I admit to myself with some difficulty that the conversation with Eva has really shaken me up. Eva will certainly be on the lookout for her first chance to get hold of the record. I'll have to be doubly careful now. The last half hour of my journey drags past in feverish suspense. When the train finally pulls into the station, I leave my seat to be near the exit, ready to disappear into the crowd as soon as it stops and the doors open. Chapter 3. London. It's almost 10 o'clock in the morning, local time. I'm in a pub in Holborn with a large coffee and a phone book in front of me. Yesterday, when the train got in, I had scurried to the underground without a backward glance. I have the feeling that several people were seeking me out in the crowd. I don't know if it was my paranoia at work or if Eva really did have henchmen ready on the station platform to intercept the record. Whatever the case, I managed to jump onto a train without confrontation. Considering the circumstances, it was probably risky to stay close to the station, so I made the journey to a little hotel I'd stayed in for a conference organized by my employers at the blank last spring. After my difficult day, which had ended with me crossing London, constantly checking over my shoulder to be sure I wasn't being followed, I decided to get an early night. Which is why I find myself at a relatively early hour, 10 a.m., making a list of the city's record stores with the hope that someone will be able to help me find Ulysses' trail again. I take a mouthful of my cooling coffee, glancing at my handbag. The remembered book didn't have a safe, so I brought the record with me, not daring to trust it with the reception desk. I turned the page of the phone book, continuing my selection. What? Why is she looking for people to talk to? Didn't Patrizia give her a name? It's so strange. To avoid spending too much time traveling, I try to restrict myself to the Mayfair and Covent Garden areas, which have the advantage of being central and being a part of the supposedly trendy districts. There's no point in making a list as long as my arm. 3 well-chosen record stores should be enough for me to find the answers to my questions. And if none of them can help me, I'm pretty sure at least one of them will be able to point me in the direction of a colleague who may know more. Record store owners are like big cats. Each one has their own hunting ground, but they often quench their thirst at the same watering hole. Oh, okay. Of course, I began by checking the address of Alan O'Reilly's store, Patricia's friend. His store, Yard Sale Records, is on Carnaby Street. The road is well known for being crammed with clothes and thrift stores. I should be able to buy myself a few clothes there without breaking the bank. With the disappearance of my case, I had to resign myself to wearing yesterday's clothes, which have already been through the clammy filth of the subways of 2 cities, and on a train journey, all of which prompts me to start the day with a bit of shopping. I confess, when I got up this morning after the setback, giving up my search and going back to Bordeaux certainly crossed my mind. I quickly changed my mind. After all, my apartment had been searched before I left. If I give up now, it's only a matter of time before someone manages to steal the record from me. And I need to know what's happened to Ulysses. Not to mention, I still intend to learn how to use the record to return to my reality. Even if the people I've spoken to up to now haven't given me much hope of success in that particular venture, I turn back to the phone book. I had Strawberry Fields records stored in my list. This is beautiful artwork of the Thames. The store claims to be the oldest and most psychedelic in the city, since 1966 in other words, since the great days of swinging London. Considering the age of the store, I imagine there's a strong possibility that Ulysses has been there. And to finish, a little further away in Mayfair, Sidecar Vinyls is specialized in secondhand records, with an advert that says True Rock and Roll, Garage, and 60s. I gulp down the rest of my coffee, pay my bill at the bar, as is customary this side of the channel, then I head west along New Oxford Street. Sky is overcast but not threatening rain. I decided a walk will do me good, especially as Carnaby Street is only a half hour away on foot, as far as I can recall. On my way, I stop at a Marks & Spencer that I come across. To deal with my most pressing needs, I buy a small travel bag and throw in some toiletries, underwear, and a few pairs of warm tights to combat the hostile chill of the British fall. With the prices in mind, I try to stick to the strictly necessary. Even if, theoretically, this London escapade will be erased when I listen to the record again, it would be annoying to run short of funds before that. Quarter of an hour later, I'm in Carnaby Street. I begin as planned by visiting a few thrift stores. Recreating a wardrobe from nothing, even a basic one, seems like an almost impossible task which could easily take all day, so I try not to get distracted and focus on the basics. I remember Patricia's remark the evening before and make sure I'm not dressed in a too professional style. In the end, I hope I have a few tops that can be worn anywhere, a turtleneck sweater, 2 pairs of fitted jeans, and a short skirt. I don't know if I'll have the chance to wear it, but I can't resist a very 60s pale blue shift dress. It's probably not wise, but I think I can allow myself one impulse buy after all. That should be enough for a few days. And if my wanderings take me to another country again, I'll be traveling light. I use the store fitting room to change and slip my dirty clothes into a pocket of my travel bag. Instantly, I feel much better with clean clothes. I look at the time. It's almost midday. Decide that I've spent enough time on provisions. It's time to focus on my main reason for coming here. When I get to Yard Sale Records, the store is plunged in darkness. A notice taped to the door window tells me in handwritten capital letters, "Won't open till late, come back later, sorry not sorry, Alan." Too bad, I'll just have to come back later. Maybe it's Patricia Finn will have decided to get out of bed by then. Sure. Stuck between a bookstore and a pub, the faded old worn wooden facade of Strawberry Fields record store exudes character. The store is located well located on a touristy little pedestrian street. When I push open the door, my nostrils are assaulted by the sense of incense and patchouli. I don't know what that is. The interior, which is lit by a few floor lamps, is long and narrow, with tiers of records along each side. The A-side of Forever Change plays at a volume as subdued as the lighting. Rare records are displayed along the walls, high up, with prices best described as exorbitant. To tell the truth, I feel more like I've walked into a museum than a shop. Once my eyes have become accustomed to the gloom, I make out behind the counter an old man with half-moon glasses, long white hair, and a beard just as white and just as long. He's reading a battered paperback copy of the collected works of Allen Ginsberg. A roll-up burns at the corner of his mouth. I approach the counter and venture a shy hello. I have a strong feeling that I'm disturbing him. The old man doesn't even glance at me. I try a second, louder hello, with the same result. "Gwen's coming," the man mutters into his beard. I'm seriously considering leaving when the bead curtains at the back of the shop separate with a jingle and a young woman with long blonde hair and a welcoming smile appears. Sorry for taking so long, I was just feeding Rob's cats. Can I help you? Either I can ask if she knows Ulysses, or I can bring up the record, hopefully without revealing too much. I could also decide that I'm wasting my time, make something up, and slip away. Talk about Ulysses. Yes, it may sound a bit odd to you, but I'm looking for a friend of mine. A record store owner. Ulysses, does that ring any bells? Rob lifts his eyes from his book and stares at me. Long, brown, curly hair, dark skin, and glasses. He would have been in London a few months ago? You know, there are a lot of record collectors. I don't know all of them. Turns to the old man. How about you, Rob? Ring any bells? Rob relights his cigarette and takes a deep drag. I mean, Rob clearly knows him, right? Oh, no, that was us speaking. I thought that was Rob speaking. My bad. It's at that moment that I realize, from the characteristic smell of the smoke he exhales, that his roll contains more than just tobacco. No, sorry, it doesn't ring any bells. There are a lot of people passing through the shop. It's a pretty touristy area, you know. Usually it's Gwen who takes care of your customers. If she doesn't remember your friend, I doubt I could help. My memory isn't what it was. As if to prove his words, Rob takes another deep pull on his joint and goes back to his book. Gwen shrugs, looking sorry. Okay. Fine. Sorry to have bothered you. No problem. That's what I'm here for. Goodbye. Gwen gives me a little wave and I leave this door. We'll try the other place. Hardcore Vinyls looks like a garage transformed into a record store. There are two Harley Davidsons parked near the entrance. Now I'm obliged to squeeze-cast, straddling some boxes of records to get to the counter, which stretches across the back wall. The back of the store is windowless, and the cold light of neon tubes creates a surprisingly sterile atmosphere. A small group of leather-clad people huddle around a bar with bottles and cans of beer in their hands. It's a radical change of ambiance compared to the subdued atmosphere and meticulous order of Rob and Gwen's store. I'm asking myself what I'm doing here when the person who I suppose must be the owner, a middle-aged man with a mustache, wearing a leather jacket with a Motorhead t-shirt stretched across his round belly, urges me not to be scared and come closer, all with a barely disguised French accent. I decide to answer him in the language of Molière? Molière? Bonjour. Vous parlez français? The guy seems caught off guard and starts to laugh after a moment of hesitation. He turns to the group and says, in English on their behalf, "Hey guys, say hello to the froggy." They turn to look at me. French jump scare, literally Harmless awoke from his slumber to get jump scared by me speaking French at him. They turn to look at me and I hear a chorus of hellos among a few bonjour mademoiselles from the bolder ones. Excuse the weirdos. It's meeting day of the Mayfair Motor Club, which I'm a member of. He holds out a hand. I shake it. Didier, nice to meet you. Tell me, what brings you here? You just lurking and get triggered by French like Winter Soldier? Literally true. Literally true. I don't suppose you're here to discuss chokes and stroke volumes. I can't imagine Ulysses in this territory. Barely a chance I'll get any useful information, but now that I'm here, I figure I might as well ask a few questions. I'm looking for a friend who is researching a record. I know that he came from London, so I'm checking some of the record stores in case someone's seen him. He's a record store owner too. Oh, as far as I'm concerned, record pays the bills. Harleys are my real passion. I need a bit more info. What's your mate's name? Ulysses. Brown curly hair, dark skin, glasses. Didier shakes his head. No, sorry, doesn't ring any bells. And the record he's researching? It's an acetate, 7-inch white label. Dieter smiles and lets out a triumphant, thundering aha. Oh, and you're going to tell me that you can't describe the music that's on it, aren't you? Yes, that's right. I've heard about that record. I've got an old pal who's been looking for it for years. I didn't consider this possibility. Could it be someone I've already met? I could play innocent and try to learn more. I could also be tough and shut down any attempts at negotiation. Really? Who's that? Maybe I've already met them. Oh yes, most likely. He's obsessed by that record. He thinks that listening to it will literally change his life. His name is Jean-Luc, but he calls himself Eddie Black. Ring any bells? Oh my god. Seeing my face, Dieter immediately realizes that yes, it does ring a bell. Ah, well, I hope he wasn't too crass with you. I promise you, he's a lovely guy, but as I said, he's obsessed by that record. He scares me. He followed me from Bordeaux. He even tried to waylay me in a dark street in the middle of the night just yesterday. I wouldn't exactly say he's a lovely guy. To be frank, he scares me. Didier takes a deep breath. And us, do we scare you too? Just because we wear leather jackets and ride motorbikes doesn't make us savages. I mean, no, but you're also in a shop in the middle of the day. You're not fucking following me around across a country and, trying to, stalk me in the middle of the night. There's a difference. I get that the circumstances of your meeting weren't ideal. Knowing Jean-Luc, I'm sure that was mostly his awkwardness. I don't care what it is. Don't stalk someone. We've known each other since we were kids, us two. I swear on my life, he's a good guy. If you would let him listen to the record... I don't know, I need to think about it. I understand. Are you staying a few days in London? That depends, the shortest time possible. I'm going to leave as soon as I find a new lead, unless I find Ulysses here, in London. In any case, I don't plan to stay here long. I understand. Can I get in touch with you? Do you have a cell phone number? Yes, but I don't have a long-distance service. Yeah, we'll give that a miss. That'll cost me a fortune. In any case, you know where to find me. Unless... Would you be okay with me telling me which hotel you're staying in? I hesitate. On the one hand, I don't know if I can trust this guy enough to give me the address of a hotel. On the other hand, maybe Eddie Black, Jean-Luc, is truly harmless. Perhaps has some useful information for me about the record. I'm sorry. I don't trust you enough to give you the address. I understand. Peter grabs a notebook and a pencil. Listen, to make it easy, I'll give you my number. Either drop by here or give me a buzz tomorrow, alright? Knowing Jean-Luc, he'll jump on the first train. Can I count on you? I nod. Seriously hope I won't regret it. Peter lifts his right hand, 3 fingers raised and the pinky bent. Scout's honor. Do they have Boy Scouts in England? That's like a Boy Scouts of America thing, isn't it? What? Then he turns to the group of bikers and tells them to drink to my health. I'm gratified by a thundering cheers from the assembly. I give them a wave and I clamber back between the records and the motorbikes to find the exit. Once in the street, I walk quickly away from the store, hoping I've made the right choice. There are light movements when my steps lead me back to Alan's store this time. A few loafers loiter among the boxes while a young girl, focused on her listening, headphones firmly in place, moves the needle back and forth on a record player in one of his booths. Excuse me. The background music is folk, a little odd yet inspired, topped by a husky voice which murmurs in Spanish. The boxes seem to contain quite a lot of new releases, small presses of alternative bands. If they have a secondhand section, I don't know where it could be, which isn't exactly a good sign for my search. Behind the counter, two sales clerks seem to be arguing. I move closer. Just because we've just opened up, doesn't mean you can subject us to your wishy-washy folk music. It's way too late in the day for this. Right, Beth. First, it's not wishy-washy folk music. It's the latest record from Devendra Banhart. It's a new import we just got in. And second, the guy is a genius. And as Alan, once again, forgot to put his alarm on, let's say it still counts as in the morning, right? Fine then, but I get to choose the next record. Deal? Deal, as long as it's not your pseudo-feminist, second-rate Sonic youth. Jesus Christ. Sleater Kinney, second-rate Sonic youth, it's the rock record of the year. Okay, first off, this girl looks exactly like the girl from NCIS? God, what was her name? The girl who was like the scientist that was like running tests on like ballistics and stuff. Her name was like Alice or Abby or something like that. I want to say it started with an A. Does anyone know who I'm talking about? NCIS characters. This girl, Abby Shudo, played by Polly Perrette. It's like literally her. That's crazy. I was not expecting to get jump scared by an NCIS character. Well, it's either that or it's the news Franz Ferdinand. Then nobody wins. We've been listening to it on repeat for the last month. We sell 3 copies every time we play it, Garrett. Do you like being able to pay your rent at the end of the month? Excuse me. Beth turns to me, beaming. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I had to interrupt my work for reasons of cultural divergence with my colleague. But he'll keep. The colleague rolls his eyes. What can I do for you? I'm looking for an Alan O'Reilly. What's it about? If it's about an unpaid bill or something like that, it better be better to come back for tomorrow. I'm not sure the boss is in the right state. No, one of his friends sent me. Oh, I see. It's about a rare record. An A-State 7-inch white label. Does that ring any bells? I don't know what an A-State is, but I need a bit more detail. Do you need the artist, the name of the track? Beth clearly has no idea what I'm talking about. I'm about to give up when the other employee, Garrett, comes over. Maybe we should send her to see the boss? Do you reckon? I'm not sure Alan's functioning well enough for any conversation longer than 3 words. Yes, but I overheard what you were saying. Alan was talking about that record not that long ago, with the geezer who came by the shop a few times, you know? Garrett turns to me. He was French too. Dark hair, dark-skinned glasses? That's the one. He had an unusual name. Sounded like the James Joyce book, Ulysses. Garrett says the name English style, pronouncing the final S. I correct him. Ulysses. Right, that's it. Do you know him? He's a friend, I guess you could say. I'm looking for him. It's best if you talk to the boss. They had some dealings together. They were old friends from what I understood. They knew each other back when the boss lived in Paris. Beth points to the left of the counter at a spiral staircase. He's upstairs in the second-hand section. As I climb the stairs, the music from the ground floor gradually fades, and when I reach the upper floor, there's a radically different atmosphere. The upper floor is engulfed in shadow, the lights off, the space lit only by a large window which runs the whole length of the wall. The room is a mess, with boxes of records piled up all over the place, being a striking contrast with the skillfully created trendiness on the ground floor. The final notes of Velvet Underground's Sunday Morning play on the sound system, and are followed by an English folk track from the same period, probably a cassette tape compilation. At the end of the room, behind a desk overflowing with paperwork, a large red-headed guy sits, or rather sprawls, in his chair, his head back and a t-shirt over his face. There's an empty beer mug in one hand, a tube of aspirin in the other, and a cup of steaming tea cooling on the desk. I approach the desk nervously and clear my throat. Without moving, Alan growls something that sounds like, "Beth, I told you not today," punctuated with various obscenities. It's not Beth. I've come from Patrizia. The companion lifts the corner of the t-shirt, glances at me, lets out a long sigh, and sits up in his chair. Even now, on what is apparently a bad day, he gives off a kind of calm force which I find strangely attractive. Patrizia? Yes, it's her who sent me. He asks who I am in a strongly accented French. The R's rolled. I'm Alice. I'm looking for Ulysses. Ulysses? Ulysses from Paris? Patrizia's ex? Yes. Yes, if you like that, Ulysses. Alan seems to be having trouble connecting the various facts of our rambling conversation. And you are? Alice, I just told you. I'm also Ulysses' ex. I'm looking for him. Alan gestured me to wait. To summarize, you're Alice, Ulysses' ex before he moved to Paris, is that right? I nod. And you're looking for him. What can I do for you? Do you know where he is? I'm looking for him. Jesus Christ, dude. Bro is not having a good day for real, for real. Do you know where to find him? Yes. I mean, no. I mean, not really. Alan rolls his eyes. Sorry, I just woke up and, well, we were a bit wasted last night. What are you doing this evening? I don't have anything planned. There's a gig in a pub not far away. We plan on going, Beth, Garrett, and I. Can we meet there, 6 p.m.? I need a little time to recover from my rough night. Alan puts the t-shirt back over his face, which seems to mean that our conversation is over. God, fuck this guy. I don't like this guy at all. When I go back down the stairs, Beth signals me to come over. So he had a rough night. I told you. He told me to join you at a pub this evening. Do you have the address? Oh yes, the Fox and Sparrow. So I'll see you there? Unless you want to stay here till closing time, it's up to you. Got good music and a few magazines to pass time if you haven't got anything better to do in the meanwhile. For now, I've been to all the record stores I wanted to see. Rather than mooching around the rest of the afternoon or tucking myself away in a pub, I could stay here. Good idea, thanks for the offer. It'll give me a chance to catch up with what's new. We've got listening booths. Help yourself. I thank Beth and head off in search for a few records to listen to. The Fox and Sparrow is only 2 streets away from Yard Sale Records, a typical London pub. From outside, I can't see Alan or his 2 employees. I suppose I might be a bit early, or perhaps they're a bit late. I consider waiting for them outside, but decide against it and head into the smoky warmth of the pub. The concert has already started. At the end of the room, on a platform, the band is playing a folk tune with a strange pagan sound. Whatever pagan sound is. I order a drink and move closer to the stage. I allow the singer's incantation to lull me. She is completely immersed in her performance, which is punctuated by a large bearded man who thumps on a big drum with a stick, and is accompanied by a few crystalline guitar notes and a low humming of a cello. I take a moment to consider today's inquiries. They weren't a huge success. Still got his number on a paper in my pocket. Then again, maybe I misjudged him. If he really only wants to listen to the record, maybe I could negotiate something with him. Perhaps he has some interesting information to share. Anyway, all I can hope is that Alan will have some answers for me. At least it seems I've managed to shake off Eva for the time being. But something tells me it's just a temporary reprieve. I'm dragged away from my musings by a hand on my shoulder. This band do a fantastic version of... should be does. A fantastic version of Willow's song. You know, the track from the soundtrack of The Wicker Man? I love their interpretation of it. I look at my companion and realize he must measure at least 6'3", something I hadn't noticed when he was slumped behind his desk. Do you like it? Yes, I like it a lot. He gestures that he hasn't heard me with the volume of the band. I hesitate to take his arm so I can repeat into his ear. Seeing my hesitation, he leans down just as I'm standing up on my tiptoes. In the confusion of the moment, I simply tell him, yes, it's great. Alan gives me a slightly embarrassed smile. Okay. There's a moment of silence before I notice that he hasn't released my arm. I let go a little hastily, hoping I'm not blushing at my own awkwardness. I take a step back. He puts a hand on my shoulder and says in my ear, "We managed to find a table. Are you coming? We'll be able to talk more easily." Beth is waiting for us at a table on the other side of the pub, far enough away from the stage for the music to be at a reasonable level to talk without yelling. Garrett joins us, carrying 3 pints of beer, which teeter dangerously between his hands. He slides one over to Alan and another to Beth. "Sorry, I didn't know what you were drinking." I raise my scarcely touched gin and tonic. "I'm all set, thanks." "We're going to go over and listen. Can you keep our seats for after the set?" Alan agrees with a thumbs up. Garrett and Beth vanish into the crowd around the stage, and Alan turns to me. "Sorry about earlier. I went to see Herman Dune in concert last night. We had a few drinks after, and it got a little out of control. It doesn't happen as often as all that, but, well, I'll admit today's been a little difficult. Anyway, as you can see, I'm feeling much better tonight." He takes a long swig of his beer. "So have you seen Patrizia lately? Is she okay? It's been ages since I was in touch with her. I'm not great with the telephone." "She seemed pretty well. We had Yuri sex." We had gay sex. It was wonderful, and I loved it. Oh my god, it's so silly. That's good. I lived in Paris for 2 years. I went for my last year of uni. Then I got a job in a records shop in the what the fuck is that word? Onzième? And that's where I met her. Afterwards, I came back to the UK to start up my own shop, and we managed to stay in touch. Spent a weekend in Paris at least once a year, and she spends a weekend in London from time to time. That said, when I saw Ulysses come into the shop last month, I was a bit surprised. I bumped into him a few times when he was with Patty. Really great guy, but we lost touch when I moved to London. It's 11th? Oh, I see. As in the 11th arrondissement. Thank you. Do you know where he is now? He told me he was going to keep tracking down his record. Do you know his destination? He talked about Scotland, I think. Seeing my downcast face, he adds, "Hey, if I'd known you were crossing the channel to grill me, I'd have asked more questions." We're interrupted by Beth, who just sat down next to me on a bench seat. "Glasgow. Pardon?" "Your bloke Ulysses. He said he was heading for Glasgow." Beth crosses her arms, a mischievous smile on her lips. Luckily, there's someone who's still got a memory on the team. Alan sits up in his chair, a glimmer of understanding suddenly on his face. "Oh yes, that's right. Now you come to mention it. In fact, I'm pretty sure I gave him the address of my old mate Yorgos. He works in a kind of trendy bar/restaurant in the center of Glasgow, the Archery." Beth lifts her empty glass sadly. "Hey, shall we get another drink? Will you help me, Alice? Alan, can you keep the table, please? Shouldn't we wait for Garrett?" "I think Garrett's occupied. His boyfriend just got here." Beth glances over at the other side of the bar, and there's Garrett stationed near the stage, discreetly holding hands with a young bearded man. Don't move, Alice, I'll go. Beth puts her hand on his shoulder to stop him from rising. No, stay there, please. I need some girl talk with Alice. I go over to the bar with Beth. You said Ulysses was in Glasgow? Yes, that's what he said when he stopped by the last time. Sorry for buttonholing you like this, but I wanted to talk to you about something else. Beth glances over my shoulder at our table. I think the boss fancies you. Are we gonna have sex with everyone on our way to find Ulysses? I would rather not run into the situation where there's just random naked people on the screen again. I think I'm gonna pass. I'm sorry, but I'm not interested. Oh, fine, I understand. Sorry if I'm out of line. Beth continues her pitch regardless, completely oblivious to the misunderstandings. Alan probably told you that he moved to England to set up his own shop, but actually he left Paris to be with his missus. Unfortunately, they split up a few months ago. Damn, she could have leashed me. She's not talking about her. She's talking about her boss, the other guy. Oh, Liz. It was pretty messy. Since then, he's been going through a rough time. We joke about him not being able to wake up to open the shop, but honestly, it's been a bad way since the breakup. It really shook him up. When I saw him come downstairs earlier, all showered and perfumed, well anyway, looking very dapper despite the hangover. Is that Polly Parrot? Literally, I asked the same thing. I was literally like, it's the girl from NCIS. Literally me. And she looks exactly like her. It's literally like they took her likeness and put her, like, in the video game. Oh, wait, it's literally her. I was saying that. It's literally Abby from NCIS. Abby Shudo, yeah. It's literally the same person. Okay, I'll think about it. No pressure, I'm just telling you, it's your choice. I'm good. The overworked barman finally decides to come over and take her order. We order, I manage to pay for my round despite Beth's objections, and we go back to our table. We chat for a while. I go back over to the stage to watch for the end of the concert. We order our last drink. Alan tells me funny stories about his life in Paris and London. Tells me about how he met Ulysses. I feel a twinge of sadness. I recall the good years we had together with a strange deja vu. Or more like deja vesu? Like I'd already lived this, which I couldn't explain to myself. Alan's a charming guy. I get the feeling that hiding beneath the imposing physique and that Canadian lumberjack exterior, there's a sensitive child. I think if the circumstances allow it, we could easily become friends. Excuse me. We're in the middle of a lively discussion comparing the careers of Bob Dylan and Leonard Cohen when the bell rings for last orders and clothing time. Vacu, meaning already lived. I see. I don't think it'll be long before they kick us out. Shall I walk you back to your hotel? Either Alan's extremely respectful for someone who's supposed to fancy me, or Beth has misread his behavior. I take the initiative myself and be more forward. Whatever I decide, I can't see myself going back to my hotel on my own, not after the scare I had last night, the night before last, or after my conversation with Eva in the buffet car. I do think it's time to be getting back. Thanks for a great evening. Alan repeats his offer to walk me back, and I accept gratefully. We say goodbye, go out of the pub, and head off in different directions. We continue to talk about music on the way, then when we reach the hotel, which is only a few minutes walk away from the pub, we exchange numbers and promise to stay in touch, Alan and I. I go up to my room, and after the day's adventures, I slip easily into the arms of Morpheus. When I wake up the next morning, I have a fairly clear plan of battle. I think I've collected all the information I can here in London. At least I know Ulysses' next destination, Glasgow. I hope Alan's friend Yorgos will be able to tell me more. All I can do is jump on a train and cross my fingers that the trail doesn't dry up. First, I jump in the shower and choose some fresh clothes. Something tells me there's a strong possibility that Eva and her henchmen are watching the stations. So I try to choose an outfit as different as possible from the one I was wearing when I arrived in London to reduce of being recognized if needed. In the same vein, I decide to put up my hair, which I rarely do usually. When emptying my pockets, I find Dieter's number. I hadn't really intended to use it when he gave it to me. I think to myself it might still be worth considering it. On one hand, I could decide to play safe and not call. If I count his case as closed, it's unlikely that Eddie will be able to track me down in Glasgow. On the other, maybe I'm missing some interesting information which he might want to share in exchange for listening to the record. But am I prepared to take the risk that he might steal it from me? Or is perhaps that he's also being watched by Eva and her organization? What to do? I mean, everyone who's known Eddie has said he's a fine person, but I don't really care. Don't stalk people. I decided that no, better safe than sorry. The risk of being record stolen or of Eva getting back on my trail is too great to be ignored. I gather my things and leave the room, en route for the station. Chapter 4. Glasgow. Okay, we're about like at the halfway point of the game, so I think I'm gonna call it here. Because we're like at quitting time. And we'll finish the game next week. The game has been really interesting so far. I kind of didn't really know anything about the game or like what direction it was going to go in. But it's been interesting. I was definitely not expecting the whole like record butterfly affecting yourself and then murdering people in your lifetime. But it's certainly interesting. I'm very excited to find out like what happens next. It's like a mystery almost. You know? Good night, Wiz. Good night. I hope you have a good evening. Don't stalk people. It's creepy. If you need to talk to someone, just talk to them and don't follow them around. It's really, really uncomfortable. The whole sequence was very uncomfortable. But I'm very interested in learning about, you know, everything that comes out. So we'll keep playing it next week. Until then, I will see you guys again Thursday. We will be streaming at the normal time unless I really need to change because Thanksgiving. So until then, I will catch you guys then. Good night. I hope you all have great days, evenings, and I will see you all on Thursday. Good night, good night, good night. You all are super, super wonderful, so good night. Yes, Scout love forever. But good night. Bye-bye.